and see people come in.
Howdy, howdy.
Good
Yeah,
morning.
We
it
are
usually
back.
takes a while, doesn't it, for
We're,
people to jump in?
yeah, we actually already have. Why can't I see how many? Oh, there we go. We have 161 in here already.
Okay,
Just
I
popped
don't
up.
know.
So, but howdy, howdy, everybody. We have a special guest today. It's awesome. Sean of Steel is with us today, and we are super excited to hear his story and kind of share experiences. And we really want to compare effectiveness and pros and cons of different ways of doing weight loss. So this is awesome. Sean, thanks so much for joining us today. I really appreciate it, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I think
That's
you're one of
awesome.
the brave ones. Not too many people are brave enough to have me on their channel, I guess.
Oh, you'll fit in just nicely here. You'll find out we are not very politically correct here, and we are as blunt as anybody. So that's one reason we felt like we recognized your kind of mood. Like we're like Sean would fit in really good here because we're just easy going. We just say it how we see it, and we don't take it easy on the I don't know the politically correct part of the algorithm. So
Oh yeah, no, that's definitely not me. So you don't have to worry about that. Hi everyone. Hi Dale. Hi Emmett. Hi Teresa. How many people? I can't see how many people are in here. I'm kind of
there's
curious how this will
there's
go.
yeah, there's 361 in here now and climbing.
Ooh.
Me and Lindy are really carrying our weight. We have a total of about 35 of them in here, and you've got 328.
Yeah, don't worry about it. I always say that it's insane how supportive the people are on my channel. Man, they'll just come flooding in here. They're like the nicest people ever. I expected
No.
so much more crap from people whenever I started posting videos. I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna say some crazy stuff. Everyone's gonna jump on me. I'll get a little hate bandwagon going, and they've just been like unbelievably nice. So
Awesome, man. Well, yeah, and I mean it's climbing. We're already up to 425 now, 430. Yeah, it's climbing hard. So, um, I
I
guess
call
what
them
people
my women's what I call them because it's like 80% female. But when you post like weight loss stuff, it's insane. But it's always more female just because typically guys don't give a damn about like weight loss stuff. And even my surgeon told me this. He's like, look, it's like 80% of my patients are female. He's like, just because like guys only go to the doctor for three reasons: it's bleeding, it hurts, or a woman tells you to. So I was like, all right, that makes perfect sense.
yeah. That's a fact. Although that also sounds like Lindy. Lindy's super stubborn when it comes to going to the doctor too.
Oh
So
I
man,
avoid them like the plague. They miss me.
mm-hmm.
for sure.
Actually, before I started going on this whole like weight loss journey, it was I I went into kidney failure at one point. It was the first time I'd ever spent the night in a hospital, and
Wow.
it was scary because it had never happened to me before. And actually, the funny thing is, that was the second time because it happened to me before. I didn't even go to the hospital. Like I should be dead by all reason would say that I'm dead right now, but I didn't even go. And then the second time I was like, huh, I haven't peed in 3 days. And I finally went to the hospital and they were just like, lock me down, 20 IV bags. Like it was crazy.
Holy cow.
Hmm.
What was the problem? Like what?
Here's what they said. They said perfect storm, right? Like I was on the Cinepril for blood pressure because my blood pressure was always up around like 160 something. Now it sits around like 122/78. So it's like good. But that I took ibuprofen and what else? They just dehydration. They're like those three things together off. Like your kidneys just shut off. And then they asked me if I'd ever had kidney issues. And I was like, nah, never had that before, right? So they pushed dye on me for a CAT scan, and they're like, that's the worst thing we could have done when it
Yeah,
comes to your kidneys being messed up.
totally. That got my dad real hard. It actually he put him into he ended up having stage 3 kidney failure and had to go on dialysis from that.
I'm sorry to hear that. That's awesome, Katie, down 85 pounds.
Oh, congratulations, Katie. That's huge.
Yeah, a lot of
Um,
people on my channel, they'll tell you, man, they're losing so much weight. I feel so good about that because they'll
that's
always be
awesome.
like, oh, you're like motivating me. And I'm like, me? Like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm just here to like make some jokes about my own situation, but it seems to help people. So
Oh, that's awesome. That was one thing, I guess, for anybody that's new to the audience and probably our audience, you want to start with your story a little bit, like when your weight all started, what your heaviest was, what kind of led you down this path.
okay, I can do that. My heaviest weight was 605, and 605 twisted steel and sex appeal, as I like to say. But no, it was bad. I mean, my weight had been out of control my whole entire life. I had never even thought about like keep getting it in check or anything like that. And man, like I probably graduated high school around like 400, not knowing what my weight was, but it was just always out of control. I never did anything. I told everyone, why worry about it? I'll be dead by 30. And that's what I would just tell everyone. Like, I'm planning on checking out by then. Hi, D. And so at that point, I got to 30 and I was like, well, damn, here I am. What do I do now? Right.
Right.
So when I got there, it was like, all right, wake up call. And I still wasn't, like, it has to click in your head, like as we said before. So I had to get it through my head, and I didn't for a long time, even at that point, and go into the surgeon and all that. And the one who actually called the surgeon for me, it wasn't me. Like, I wasn't going to do it on my own. My girl called the surgeon, and she's the one that got me in there. And for a long time, up and down, you know, the Rona hits, and it's just kind of messed up from that point. So that happened. And then for the longest, I'd say I finally got it where I started working on it about June or July of 2021. So from that point is where I'm down from. Down 335 pounds today, and I'm sitting at 270. So about 20 pounds to go to my goal.
That's awesome, man.
Hi, Cynthia.
That's kind of, and how old are you now then?
Getting old. No, I'm 35.
35. That's awesome. Well, it's so good that yeah, and you look way younger than that too, by the way. I thought you were in your 20s for sure.
Rosy cheeks, man. Rosy cheeks. I hated them growing up because everyone would always, oh, the rosy cheeks. Well, they would give me crap for it, and I would always say, yeah. Like, I always just had some little sick comeback, like I'll give your mom some rosy cheeks or something like that. But it was just, it definitely makes me look younger. I kind of like it now though, because it's making me look a little younger.
Right. Keep the keep the youth alive for sure.
Right.
Did you catch Rona at all or no?
I've had it 4 times. Yeah. I catch that thing left and right.
How did that treat you when you had it? Did you have any lung issues from it?
The first time it was pretty bad, but I was like 605 at that point. So like my breathing was real shallow and it was bad, but it wasn't like everyone else says, you know, where they're like, oh my God, they're almost like down and out for the count. Mine wasn't that bad, but it was bad enough, you know, lose my sense of taste, smell. And then the worst thing I would say about it is that like foggy feeling in your head where you can't think straight. That's what drives me nuts. Nothing but that.
Yeah, absolutely. I had a similar, it's kind of funny. Me and you were on a similar timeline when it comes to that because, you know, I was big my whole life. I was 600 pounds when I was 14 years old. That's when I found out how big I was. I had a dog that had to go to the vet, and she was a Great Dane. And when we got to the vet, they had to weigh her, and they had a big livestock scale out in the barn. And the dog wouldn't stay on the scale. So she goes, well, you pick her up and you get on the scale with her. And then, you know, then we'll weigh you, deduct your weight from the dog. And when I got on that scale, me and the dog together were like 500 or no, 680 some pounds. And I was like, I hope this dog weighs like 300 pounds or you know.
Right.
And then when I got off, my weight was 595 pounds when I was 14. And this, the whole time in my head, I thought it was like 350. You know, I was lying to myself. I was like, well, I'm probably 350 or 400. Yeah. And I was 595 when I was 14. But fast forward to 2021, I caught Corona and I ended up getting real sick from it. And I ballooned up from 650 to over 720 pounds with fluid because I got congestive heart failure during Corona. and I got COVID lung, and it just made me sick as a dog. And that's when I luckily found Carnivore and turned it around and got real serious. And that was that decision that you're talking about, where I was finally like, that's it. We're, I got no choice. We got to do this and see what we can heal up. But that's very interesting.
Everybody kind of has that moment where it's just like, okay, this is it. I'm either going to do something or I'm not going to be here much longer. So it's good that you had that. And then, if Carnivore's working great for you, you look good.
Thank you. And the most important part, man, is I feel so good. Like the anxiety and depression went away. The congestive heart failure is like gone. I'm off the oxygen. I don't have any breathing problems anymore. My resting heart rate went from like 107 beats a minute to 68 beats a minute. Like I just have a life again. It is everything healed. It's crazy. The last thing I'm dealing on, and I was going to ask you this question too. Oh, actually, Lindy, why don't you tell what was your kind of that day that your mind kind of changed and you had to throw it all in?
Yeah, well, I've been overweight all my life as well. So from a kid all the way through, I actually had lap band surgery when I was around 25. I was around 300 pounds back then. Failed that and still ate my way through that. Comfort eating, and it was just ridiculous. Got almost up to 800 pounds, plus or minus. I don't know, because I couldn't weigh myself at all. But yeah, my 50th birthday, I thought, geez, I've got two beautiful daughters. They need their mum. I lost my mum at 50 to cancer. So it was like, I need to change my life.
Sorry.
I had to, I just thought, what do I do? I've tried every diet, failed lap band surgery. That was the cure for me. That's what the doctor told me. And I did a little bit of keto to start, but I kind of struggled with that, just measuring macros, and it was not restrictive enough for me. I still had cravings and just couldn't sustain that. And then stumbled across Carnivore, a video from Dr. Ken Berry, and I thought, this guy is crazy. Just eat meat, like seriously. But I tried everything else, and this was my last hope. So I jumped into that. I did struggle for about 6 months and then signed up to a community and got some coaching, private coaching, and they helped me for about 8 months. Just fix my head, just, the comfort eating, trying to change my habits, my patterns and things. And now I'm down to 268 pounds, I think it is. Sorry, it's 24 kilos. I'm not sure of the conversions. I'm from Melbourne, Australia. So, yeah, and I'm thriving. I've reversed my type 2 diabetes. I've got lymphedema and lipedema, severe. That's nearly all gone. Like I have very minimal pain now, next to no pain now, and my edema is all gone. And I've got my life back. Mobility. I'm back behind the wheel of a car. I can actually fit in my car now, and I bought myself a brand new car, and I'm driving. And I've got a brand new life. It's like a second chance at life.
They're weighing you guys. They're weighing you guys in kangaroos. That's one of my jokes I always make. Like I always say, like, oh man, he's like 500 pounds. That's like 3.5 kangaroos. So I always joke because I was like, I just assumed that all Australians and stuff weigh themselves in kangaroos or koalas. That would be a good one. What is it? It's like something like 90% of koalas have like chlamydia or something. Did you know that?
I've heard that, but did you know they poop like over 200 times a day?
God, that's a good diet plan right there.
Yeah, I thought I went a lot on Taco Bell night, but that's crazy.
Right. I said the most weight I ever lost the quickest was eating 3-day-old Chinese. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Lisa's asking our age, Lindy. I am 40, about to be 41 next month. How about you, Lindy?
I'm 52. I'm the old one.
Looking fantastic, though. Man, killing it.
Thank you.
I had one question for you too, Sean. Did you ever have, or do you suffer with any lymphedema at all?
The swelling, yeah. The lymphedema is like the growth, isn't it? or
Well,
like a
it it
growth, or
it,
is it?
it kind of depends. It depends on if so I found out this a little bit, but it depends on if there's a huge like if you have one leg that's like 20% bigger than your other leg, that can be called lymphedema too, whether it's balanced or not. If you have a abnormal growth size, to one leg, even if it can be a growth or just an oversized leg, even.
No, I don't have anything like that, but I would get swelling in my legs and it would kind of swell up. And this is kind of a funny story too, because I went to my bariatric surgeon, right? I walk in there, oh man, I killed my diet this month. It's going to be great, right? And then they're like, well, you gained 30 pounds. I was like, what? And then I come back, like, I was like, no, I cussed them out, stormed out of there. Like, it was crazy, right? So I
Yeah,
come back. I was like, I will be back in a couple days. I came back the next Monday. I dropped like 40 pounds in fluid or something. And
guaranteed.
they're like, wow, we need to like study you somehow because that's just insane. But it would swell so bad, like the front of your shin could touch the top of your foot. Like
Oh
it
yeah,
hurt so
Yeah.
bad.
I'm there with you. Isn't that called cupping or whatever?
Caffeine.
Cuffing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cuffing.
My
Yeah, because
sounds,
each one of my calves were 36 inches in diameter when I was 700 plus pounds because I got congestive heart failure. So my record was I peed out 32 pounds in one night. In about 9 hours of sleep, I peed out 32 pounds of just
isn't
fluid.
that crazy? Because
So
you
nuts.
have to get up and pee every 20 minutes. So you
Yeah,
can't
like 12
sleep.
times. Yeah, all
Uh-huh.
night long. Yep.
Can't sleep. So you're jumping up and down, up and it's the worst. It's the worst, and it feels like it needs to pop. Like that's what's so painful. Because I
Does,
remember,
man.
this is going to sound psychotic, man. People, there was one point where I was like, I'm going to get this fluid out, right? And I took like a thumbtack and I just started
Yeah.
poking holes in the front of my shin, and I wouldn't recommend that to anybody.
No.
That's not the best way to do it, but definitely comes out if you do that. Like it'll
Oh
start
yeah.
leaking out little by little,
You
or
gotta
they
be
call it
so
like weeping.
you definitely be careful of that though, because you'll get what do you call that?
Yeah, not
Cellulitis.
medical advice.
Yeah, definitely not
Nobody
medical advice.
nobody do that.
Yeah, for sure. But no, I feel you, man. It's that swelling is so miserable, and it's some of the worst. Like people don't understand when your lower limbs swell like that. It is some of the most. It'll drain you. It's some of the most tiring, fatiguing type of weight. It just makes it so hard to get around, so hard to sleep or like just anything. Man, it's miserable.
Yeah, it's
And
the worst.
for sure. So, what do you think? What do you think was the catalyst for your weight gain? If you had to guess, was it what kind of diet were you on, and what kind of just kind of habits do you think kept you trapped in that the most?
Well, I just thought I looked too good, so I should put on some more weight, But
Try to save
no,
some of the ladies for everybody else.
right, gotta save them from me a little bit. But no, it was a combination of things. Like I never had a healthy relationship with food. I just ate whatever growing up, right? If it was processed, I was going to eat it. If it was a whole like box of cosmic brownies, I would eat it in one sitting. Parents kind of just let me roll with it. My dad didn't break 100 pounds till the 11th grade. So my dad was like a little guy growing up. My mom, she's not like overly big, but she's a little bit bigger. And I would say the reason I think they let me go like that is because both their parents like were alcoholics, so they didn't have the food growing up. Like not knowing where you're going to eat next was a big deal, right?
Right.
So by giving us everything, she kind of probably felt like she was doing the right thing. And she actually came to me the other day and was like, oh, well, I realize now that I overfed you. And I was like, really? It only took 100,000 subscribers to figure that out, Mom? Like, but no, she's a sweetheart. My dad will give you the shirt off his back. Like, so I just had overly giving parents that kind of let me have at it. So,
And then, I always ask this because I feel like it was the thing that kept me stuck. But did you have any depression and anxiety? I always felt like it was the anxiety that just made me so compulsive. And so I was always kind of tormented by anxiety, which I found out later was from insulin resistance, really. But
Mhm.
but I always needed a break from that. Like everything seemed to be this super compulsive, addictive nature of mine seemed to stem from anxiety, and I always wonder if there's a link there, because I hear that a lot now.
So you were like an emotional eater then, to an extent, like you would get all worked up or something, and then you would turn to food.
Yeah. So like like I'd wake up in the morning, like our bodies put out cortisol at 3 o'clock at night, or 3 o'clock in the morning, and then that if you don't have healthy hormones, you're gonna have anxiety, most likely an anxiety attack, and then that's tormenting, and then you just get so worked up and just so full of depression that you want to break from it. It's very tormenting, and so you go eat sugar or whatever, or you just gorge on something. For me, it was usually a bunch of like Baja Blast Mountain Dew or something, a bunch of sugar calories, and I would drink like 64 ounces of soda, and then that endorphin rush would break that anxiety cycle.
Right. I mean, I lived at Taco Bell too, so
Right?
but I don't, as far as anxiety, depression, I don't think I suffered from depression. I think I figure out more about myself every day, right? You don't know.
Right.
But I'm one of those people that's kind of like, I understand people that get depression and stuff like that. It's a dark place, right? To get that big. But I feel like you almost give it more power when you say like, hey, I'm depressed, I'm this and that. So I'm just kind of one of those. I try to look on the bright side, but yeah, there was definitely some depression there. There had to be. You just can't live that life and be that, like, what's it, sedimentary, like sitting there and just watching the world pass you by and not have that.
Yeah, I mean, because I don't know. I assume we all had these days, but I mean, the older I got, and the more things that I tried that failed, because I lost 300 pounds twice in my life before and gained it all back, and I lost 200 pounds twice in my life before and gained it all back. And the more that I did that, and it came back with a vengeance, and I'd usually be sicker and heavier, the more I stopped wanting to wake up in the morning. The more I started going, oh man, I made it another night. I can't do this anymore. And I know that's very true with Lindy too, right, Lindy?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm concentrating on comments. And
no worries, you're good to go. I know.
Yeah, somebody said they want to pick my cute cheeks. I don't know which cheeks she's talking about, but
well, one of them you pick, the other ones you slap, I think.
Right. I don't have much back there. I don't know why I was so big everywhere, but my flat ass, like, I don't get it.
Well, do you know why that is? Seriously, there's a medical condition for that. It's insulin resistance.
Is it?
Yeah, insulin resistance. I have no butt either, and insulin resistance causes no butt. That's what's funny about it. Yep.
It's back there. I don't want to say it's non-existent. I'll send you guys a picture of my butt later. We have to judge this. I don't want everybody thinking that I got like a board for a butt. I'll post a picture of my ass. I don't care.
For myself, I'll take your word for it.
I mean, normally I've got a big butt, so.
Well, women are different.
Lucky you.
Because you have estrogen, but for men, no butt.
Oh, thank you. Thanks, Potsky. I appreciate that. Somebody just gave me $10. I'm rich.
Oh man, that's incredible.
No, you guys don't need to give me any money. I'm just here to hang out. Like, they're so nice. I tell them all the time, don't give me money, and they just do.
Amazing people, man. I don't know. The YouTube people are awesome. Oh, so you know, we're at 742, and you were at 670 of them. So killing it.
They're my people, man. I love them.
That's incredible. Have you ever heard of the carnivore diet before? Or do you ever run across people that do the carnivore diet or like it or find it successful?
Yeah, I mean, the carnivore diet, I hear a lot about it. I hear a lot of good things about it, honestly. Like, I'm not here to argue one way or the other for what diet's the best. I know you guys swear by carnivore, and it seems to be working really well for you guys. So
I have to swear by it because it set me free from
right
39 years of addiction. So it's like I'm preaching it like it's the gospel, because I'm like, dude, because I tried every calorie restricted diet, And I totally would have done. I was close 4 times to getting gastric bypass, but my mom had it and hers failed, and my sister had the lap band and that failed, and Lindy also had the lap band and it failed for her. And so I just was like, I honestly, I thought that I was such a food addict that I would even screw that up. And so I didn't try it. I kept trying starvation diets after starvation diets, but I could not get over the food addiction part, like just the eating part. Could not get over that.
Mhm.
And carnivore just set me free from that. And within 5.5 weeks, the depression, anxiety was gone, and I had what Lindy now has coined the phrase the off switch. I have
Yeah.
no food, like I have no appetite problem at all. I have no food addiction at all. You can eat, you can drink sodas and Baja Blast and Taco Bell and eat cakes and whatever, and I have no at all weakness to those things. Like it's so crazy how day and night
Yeah.
different mentally that is.
They want to know the difference between keto and carnivore. So I've seen some people ask that.
So keto basically, both of them are ketogenic diets, right? You're in ketosis, meaning that you're burning fat fuel instead of carbohydrates or glucose, really. But the keto people, I think that strict keto can work for a lot of people, and I think it does work for a lot of people. But I also think it's a slippery slope, mainly because big food kind of infiltrated keto and they put in a bunch of keto products that are processed, like Atkin bars and protein bars and all this stuff that has all these sweeteners and a bunch of processed garbage in it. And so I did keto for 2.5 years unsuccessfully because I got into those Atkin bars and Quest bars and all those keto products. And those things will still keep your addiction alive because your brain is still getting anticipatory dopamine fixes from having that sweet flavor palette.
Mm-hmm.
And we see that all the time now, where when carnivore is like literally on carnivore, all I ate, and people think this is restrictive, but it's actually the opposite of that. Once you do it, it's the most freeing thing ever. When I started, all I ate was beef, butter, bacon, eggs, salt, and water. And that's all I ate. There was no seasonings, no pepper, no sauces. And sure, it was boring and it was rough. It was rough for the first 5 weeks, but after that, your body gets satiated. So it's literally as close. It's all animal-based foods, no vegetables, no fruit, no nothing. And you just try to eat as close. And I even had to get rid of dairy. That's a very common thing for people. That is still animal-based, but for me, I had to get rid of the dairy. It kind of frees you from the food addiction. You don't have any of those hyperpalatable processed things, and it frees your brain. But then what happens is that animal fat that you're eating, it heals your hormones because insulin is such a dominant hormone that it screws up all your other hormones. So you end up with things like anxiety and whatever. Like I had super low testosterone. My testosterone came back. I had all this anxiety and depression that came back. I had no leptin sensitivity, and leptin sensitivity is your satiety hormone. So when I stopped eating the sugar spike in my insulin, got low insulin levels, low fasted insulin levels, I got leptin sensitivity back, and all of a sudden I was a dude that could eat 2 large pizzas anytime, you name it, I could take them down. And now all of a sudden I couldn't eat a half a pizza because I had I wasn't eating pizza, but that's just an example. That quantity of food, I couldn't eat it because I had a satiety hormone for the first time in my life. It was crazy how shockingly different it is. And then just so you guys know, me and Lindy started working together because I was dying, and I was over 700 pounds, and I was looking for somebody who had done carnivore or keto or anything had come back from being 700 pounds, and I didn't have much more time because I was stuck in a recliner for 2.5 years. I was on oxygen. My lungs weren't working. I had congestive heart failure, all this stuff. And I was looking for an example of somebody who had found something that brought them back. And I'd saw some amazing things in carnivore, but not from my size. But I did it, and I lost 205 pounds in 6 months of doing my first 6 months of carnivore.
It's crazy how quick it comes off at first. And
Oh,
it's carnivore or keto in general. That's why I recommend it to people. I don't really recommend carnivore because I've never tried that one. But keto, I'm like, if you cut carbs, you'll drop weight so quick at first, it's not even funny. And that's what motivates people. So that's why I think it's the better diet. That, or well, I know you guys carnivore, anything where you're cutting carbs, I think is like the best case scenario.
well, then I didn't even know this about it until I started doing it. And then we'll talk about Lindy too, because she started at almost 800 pounds and she's down over 500 pounds now. Same deal. Because I'm 17 months into this. Lindy, you're about 28 months into this now, right? Two
Yeah,
years.
geez, 4 months.
Oh, you got a super chat there too.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Courtney.
Here, I'm gonna put that on the screen for you.
I'm not up to there yet.
Yeah, no worries. I got you. Thanks for doing this live.
Jax. Hi, Jax. She always comments 70 in Hawaii every time.
Making us jealous.
Mm-hmm. I want to go to Hawaii. It sounds like so much fun.
For sure.
Couldn't fly before, and now I'm ready. Sean's about to be worldwide, right. People.
Dude, later we're going to talk about what your funniest fat guy stories are. I want to start a series called Chronicles, Funny Chronicles of the Fat Guy, because I know that there's bunches of them. I've had.
Oh man.
Had a few left.
I tell so many like funny stuff. Like I'm super open as a person, and I just like, all right, whatever. This happened, that happened. It doesn't bother me, so I don't mind sharing stuff like that. And I think that's what people like. They like the like real, like, hey, this happened to me. I almost got stuck in a bathtub. I would have had to call the stepbrother rescue team, like stuff like that.
Well, let's take an intermission then from the story. What's your funniest story that makes you laugh so hard when you think about it?
I'd have to think about that one. There's so many things that are just funny about that size, like that happens to you, and looking back on it, it's funny, I'm trying to think. Some of them are just crazy sad. Now that I think about it, they're not nearly as funny as I used to think they were. But
tragic ones are pretty funny, especially the ones that almost caused like emotional wreckage at the time.
The funniest ones was like the funnier things that would happen was like cramping and very bad timing, like cramps and stuff like that. Like I'm not going to get all graphic with it, but it might get a little X-rated. You get like a thigh cramp. You're sitting there like 600 pounds with a thigh cramp because you can't get low enough to get the ladies could figure out what I'm talking about here, but I keep it a little PG.
Oh, for sure. It's hilarious though. No, I hear what you're saying. I mean, like for instance, on that route, I got I'd lost a bunch of weight. I was down. Go ahead.
They want me to sorry. They want me to tell you about the catheter with the nurse.
There you go.
That one's funny. Okay. When I went into kidney failure or whatever, I go in there and I don't know what's going on. They take me for a CAT scan, all that. They push dye on me. And then that's when they're like, oh, your kidneys are shut. Like it freaked me out. Right. So I'm sitting there like freaked out. I might have even teared up, but I'm not going to admit that because I'm a big, strong man. I didn't do that. But and then this nurse comes in. All right. 2 nurses, actually. One's a guy. I'm not a big fan of that. I wasn't a big fan of it. The guy going down there and doing what he does to me. And then he's like, hey, this nurse is brand new. And she needs to practice her catheter. So I'm sitting there, sure, the more the merrier, let's have at it. We can make this a group project if we have to. But so she starts to do it, and she is going light speed snail down my ding dong, man. Like as slow as she could possibly. And you're supposed to do it fast. The male nurse is yelling faster, faster. It's like the other person on the other side or whatever of the curtain had to think like the wildest stuff's going in there with 2 nurses yelling faster, faster with like sliding this thing. Oh my God. So I started cussing her out. I was legit cussing her out. And then she finished. I had to apologize. I'm like, I'm so sorry, but that hurt like hell. So I definitely said a few choice words to her that I wish I could take back, but it was kind of funny looking back on it. So a nurse practiced her catheter on me and made me lose my damn mind. It hurt so bad.
Oh, I never had to do a catheter, but I can relate to that. That's pretty funny.
First and only time. I'm not trying to do it again or anything.
No, there's funny things that just happen when you're that big, you know. Uh, just so many of them. I look back, I was devastated when they happened when I was young, but now I just look back and there's some of the funniest ones. Like when I was like 12 or 13 years old, me and my dad were going to another town. I'm in Montana, but we're going to Great Falls, Montana, and my dad liked to stop and at this bookstore in the mall. And I used to get anxiety all the time, even back then, driving in the car, and it would give me an upset stomach, and I had to go to the bathroom real bad. I had, diarrhea. I go to the bathroom, but I'm huge, I'm like pushing 600 pounds even then. And so my dad's like, well, when we walk in here, just to the left is this restaurant bar. He said in the back left-hand corner there's a bathroom. You can go in there and you can, do your business. I'll meet you at the bookstore just down here. And I'm like, all right. So like I go busted in there and I got bib overalls on because I was huge and I was in the country. So I wore Carhartt bib overalls. And I go busted in there because I got to go. We've been on the road for a while, and I get in there, and it's an old-time bathroom, and it's one of those toilets that's mounted to the wall. It doesn't sit on the floor.
Okay.
So I plop down on this thing, and I ripped the entire toilet off the wall when I sat down.
Damn. So you were, I call that demolition fat. That's what I call it.
I demoed this toilet right off the wall, and it's got like a 3/4 inch water pipe going to it that's feeding with water, and now this water pipe just drenches me. And I'm so freaked out. I got to pull up my bibs and I'm just soaked from head to toe. I haven't been in there 60 seconds. I ripped the shitter off the wall and this place is flooded and it's like pumping some serious water out. And so I bust out of there because I'm freaking out. I'm like 12 years old. I bust out of this bathroom and then I kind of like slow down, like, so I don't look suspicious, but I got water. I'm just soaked from head to toe. I just got completely blasted by this thing. And so I go walking by and the bartender's looking at me when I'm walking by. And as I'm walking by, I'm soaked and my feet are going squishy, 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 squishy.
Right. See, I would have walked out there and like looked at the bartender and been like, don't go in there. She's a squirter. And I would have just kept walking.
Right. Well, I'm freaking out. I just walked by him. I should have said that for sure. And I went and then I hauled ass and went and found Dad. I was like, Dad, we got to get out of here. I just ripped the shitter off the wall back there. And Dad's like, what? You did what? And I'm like, the shitter. So we got to walk back past this place to get out the entrance we parked in. So my dad's like, get on this side of me. But it's funny because my dad's like 200 pounds. I'm like 600 pounds. I'm like, I ain't hiding from nobody. And I'm leaving wet footprints all across the mall carpet everywhere I'm going. You literally follow me right out of there. So we got to run by this place and get the hell out of there. By it, there's like water flowing out into the actual mall now. It's caused a huge leak, and there's water that's flowing out in the mall. Everybody's running out of there. Like it was just hilarious. And me and my dad got out of there. But there's just so many stories like that that you just get in terrible situations. I just was laughing about that the other day.
They're saying Licky Booty Lacey. I forgot about that one. There's so many. Whenever I make these reaction videos, they're like acting like I know what I'm going to say. I don't even know what I'm going to say. Like I'm just going, whatever comes to my mind, I say. So, and I don't filter it very much. So that's kind of what I just roll with. I just go off the top, start making jokes. And then they're like, where'd you come up with this or come up with that? And I'm like, I don't know. That's just how my brain works.
Oh man, I know what you mean, man. It's crazy. Do you think that you ended up with a good sense of humor? Because, I think I did I really think it's because, when you're big, people are always worried about you. You get tired of people always making your size the thing. So you want a distraction, right? And so you use kind of your personality, your humor to get the focus off of you and to put the attention on something else, right? To distract people, get their mind off. Because everybody's always worried. I mean, when we're that big, we're walking around, everybody thinks you're literally dying in front of me. I mean,
right.
They see that you're killing yourself,
Well, the charisma and jokes, as far as that goes, it's definitely like a defense mechanism, I'd say. Like at first it starts out that way, or you could just say like it's what I used to get laid or whatever growing up. So jokes, women like to laugh. I like to give jokes. I like to say jokes. So that's how I'll use it. It's a weapon of mass destruction. Well, every woman has an unfair hack anyway. You guys all win. Like you guys are walking around with a cheat code between your legs for men. Like none of us are gonna, we got to be like, we got to have charisma and do this and that. You guys are just like ultimately like rank S, like beating all of us into the ground.
Right.
At least that's how I say it. Watch these women go crazy in the chat now.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Here we go. We got some questions. Let's go into these. Oh, I don't know. Did we get this super chat?
Yeah, I think I did put that one up after the second one. So, yeah.
Okay, there we go. Am I missing?
Women making me go to the doctor. I know you guys are all it's funny. They're so supportive. It's like it's awesome. But I feel like they tell me what to do and I'm cool with that. I'm all right with it. So, but yeah, my girl tells me to go to the doctor anyway. She's the one that makes me go.
Right on. Right at 600 pounds. Definitely reach out if you need a hand. That's what we love to try to help anybody that's looking for some advice or wants to try anything.
Power of the V. Funny comments in there. I told you guys I'm trying to be PG this time. You guys got me going already.
Let's see. Will they discuss water weight? Yeah, we can discuss water weight for sure. I mean, it's a big thing for me, but what's cool is for me on carnivore, when you go carnivore, that's one thing. It's a very anti-inflammatory diet, so you stop holding near as much water, and you can kind of get down to the brass tacks once you get that inflammation. How about you, Sean? Do you still deal with much water weight?
No, I don't get it at all anymore. Thank God. I haven't had any swelling in like over, I'd say at least like a year and a half or so. And Sarah, what's your question? You just said I got a question. I need the question part of that. Discuss air calories. Oh yeah, my 600-pound life, they're obsessed with air calories and not knowing where the weight came from. That's at least that's what I call it, air calories, or Casper the calorie ghost or something like that. Carbs kill, air calories. Yeah, see, they know what I'm talking about.
That's funny.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you think they come from?
I don't know, man. It's so funny. They're definitely eating the food. I really think we're in denial to a point, like about how much we're eating. Because even I say it all the time, like, man, I never realized, like, oh man, I was really eating that much, or I'm drinking that many calories. Yeah. And that's the problem. Like drinking soda all the time and stuff like that. You don't realize it. You're just drinking calories all day. So I won't drink anything with calories in it now, really. Gatorade Zero has 5 calories, and that's like it.
Yep. I totally agree. I've been carnivore for 8 months, and I've turned my health around, and now I have a BMI of 22. It's fantastic. Never hungry or hangry. Yep.
What was your guys' BMI at your heaviest?
Oh, I think I was like, what was it? Like 58 something. I don't even know what's been. I was so young when they took that the first time.
You said 58? It had to be more than 58. Unless you're like 9 foot tall.
No, I'm 5'10". I have no clue, to be honest with you. That the one I got my BMI done, it was like when I was, dude, I think.
But you could calculate it so quick, because at my heaviest, I'm 6'4", I was 605. So my BMI was 73.8.
Oh, then I had to have been 80 something,
No, you had to be in the hundreds.
I'm 47 now, according to my smart scale. But
I'm 34. Like I'm in the first obese category now. So I'm no longer morbidly obese.
Yeah, then I have no idea what I'd be. What do you think I'd be at 720, 5'10"?
I don't know. You want me to look it up real quick?
Yeah, where do you find BMI at?
Yeah, I just type in BMI calculator. and I'll find it in there. And I'll just throw, you said you're 40?
Yep.
5'10". Your weight, you said you were how much? 7?
I was about 720, 715, 720.
Your BMI was 103.3.
Now, so that how can you be 103%?
Well, no, it's your body mass index. It's just the way they.
Okay.
Yeah.
Must not did whatever that is. But that's awesome. Well,
Did your labs improve with these diets?
Yes.
Yeah. You guys go with that one.
Yeah, and I don't have all my labs back, so we're going to Hack Your Health event in Austin, Texas, and end of May, 1st of June, and that's going to be my basically 18-month anniversary. And I'm hoping to be somewhere close to 400 pounds by then. I'm 460 now, and at the rate that I'm losing, I'm hoping to be pretty close to 400. And then we're doing all new labs. But I can tell you that I got off oxygen. I'm off all my medication. I know my resting heart rate went from 107 beats a minute to 80 or 68 beats a minute. My oxygen saturation went from 88% to, and that was on oxygen, 6 liters of oxygen a day, to 96% with no oxygen. I know my anxiety, depression went away. I no longer have heart arrhythmias. I don't have any of the fluid retention hardly at all anymore. My lymphedema is way down. Blood pressure's normalized. Just everything's much better. I went and got my eyes checked, and I have a letter from my eye doctor saying that all the diabetic edema has completely healed from my eyes, and also I'm no longer pre-diabetic either. So all those things are completely gone. But what I have to check on is I have to get a echocardiogram to make sure that all the congestive heart failure is gone. Is what I'm really doing.
I had that done. It doesn't feel good because your wrist bruises up afterwards. I had like a bruise from like here to here.
Yeah,
it didn't feel good, but they wanted you to know that BMI is not a percentage. It's a number, so it's not 103%.
Okay, that's what I thought. I thought it was like that's what I was trying to say. I think I was something like 54% body fat when I was young, but I think it was way worse. You know, it had to have been like 75 or 80%, but I don't know how the BMI works then, I guess. But thank you.
Yeah, I think the thing I always joke about is not knowing that I had a neck before like losing the weight. Like, where'd this thing come from? You mean to tell me like there's a collarbone there? Where'd that come from?
Hey,
like,
doesn't it feel cool to find all this bone? It's so cool.
Right, it's stupid because sometimes I'll sit there and do this.
I know.
Like, you can see them move.
Right, and you see veins. I still do it to this day. I look at this stuff and I'm like, I never had that before, and I see veins pop out, and I'm like, this is the coolest shit ever. Because I never had it my whole life.
Right, A1C is more important than BMI. My A1C is 4.1 right now.
Yeah. My A1C was like 4.2. Yeah. So
that's good.
Yeah, that's completely normalized, and it healed my eyes. Like my eyes got like 5 prescriptions better on my glasses, which was really crazy. You know what your
collarbones are the new black. You guys are funny.
Well, what was funny was I remember I was scratching my chest, and I hooked my own rib cage, and it freaked me out because I have a rib in my life, and I was scratching my chest, and I hit a rib cage, and it like my finger got caught behind it, and I was like, "Whoa, what is that? What did I just do?"
It's funny. That's funny how that works. All these new things start popping out, and you're like, "Where'd that come from? Are you supposed to have that?" 4.1 A1C. Hot damn, that's outrageous. That's low. That's like almost low. That's a good one, I think. Yeah. Isn't it like to 5.4 or it makes you diabetic or something like that?
Yeah, I think when you're under 5, you're pre-diabetic. When you're over like 5.1 or something, you're diabetic or something. It's right in there, but it might be 5.4.
Right. And then Lindy, what was you said your BMI? What's your like labs look like since you've lost all this weight?
Oh, fantastic. I had my labs done just a few weeks ago. I have a dodgy thyroid, and I've had that for the last 30 years, and that's still the only thing that is out of whack, but everything else is fantastic. Yeah, no longer diabetic. I think 4.4 4.4, I think, was my HbA1c, so really low.
Okay.
Yeah, cholesterol was all good. Inflammation markers. When I first went to the doctors, she said, I've never seen inflammation markers as high as yours, and now they're normal. So, everything's changed. Really good.
And you've lost the most weight here. We should be listening to you this whole time instead of just rambling on like some. I'll talk your ear off if you let me. That's for sure.
Happy to have it. That's how we start our shows at 3 hours, and they usually sometimes I think we've got one that was 5.5 hours.
Damn.
Yeah.
I make these like crazy long videos. Like I feel like my videos are long. I'm like, man, I wouldn't watch a YouTube video that long. But then I put out like a short video, and they're like, "What are you doing? Where's the long ones?" Or they always comment, "Hey, Sean gave us a long one." That's the one that women like to make. They like to make that joke. We love a long one. That's what they always say. Like they like to act like us guys are the only one inappropriate. You ladies are inappropriate too online. It's funny though. I like it.
I did. Like I told you earlier, I did drop an F-bomb in our Aussie Carnivore chat. Got a few complaints about that, but it just happens naturally for me. I'm sorry.
That's what I offended I offended the Australians once because I was like, I think you guys just cuss like all the time, and this lady got so mad at me for saying that. I was like, well, I thought you guys called each other cunts as like a term of endearment down there, and she's like, we don't do that. That's outrageous. I'm like, I swear, every Australian movie I watch, you guys are calling each other that.
Oh, around here they do. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. She told me I was like wildly off. I was like, trust me, I think Australians say that, but I'm not there. I don't know. I just know that you guys live there with everything trying to kill you, so you're a different breed.
I tell you that all the time.
Like every spider, everything. This could eviscerate you. Like.
Right. I told her I'm gonna go visit her, but I'm like, you guys have spiders the size of chickens. Like, I don't want to deal with that. That's crazy.
They got like what you guys got like all the most poisonous things, like just all there, just kind of one big like cauldron of just kill you.
Right, and thank you. If they got to be somewhere, I'm glad you guys got them. But
see, yeah, Sean, it's our culture. Some Australian lady didn't like that very much because she tried to rip me a new one.
Oh, I don't know.
Each
her own.
Maybe she just had a bad day.
I'm like, Amish butter, yay or nay? I say yay. That's fine. Turkey bacon, it's fine, but you got to add fat. Same with sirloin. Chuck is good. Bone marrow is good. Soup and surrounding meat. Yeah, I mean, it's really about you just don't want to have too lean of protein. Like right now, I eat a 2-to-1 fat to protein ratio, so I make sure that I get 2 grams of fat for every 1 gram of protein. And right now I'm eating about a gram. I'm probably a little bit less than a gram of protein per pound of lean body mass. So I'm eating somewhere around 120 to 150 grams of protein a day. And it's kind of a little bit less than a pound, 1 gram per pound. But then I double that in fat and I make it up for in tallow.
But, yeah, see, they're saying, did you say add fat? It's my understanding with carnivore, you have to have a certain level of fat.
Absolutely. And I know it sounds counterintuitive, but man, when I eat fat, you want to have your insulin low. There's a process in the body called gluconeogenesis that happens. That'll even happen with protein. And this is why you don't need any carbohydrates or glucose. When people say you have to have glucose because your brain and your irises on your eyes run off and stuff, that's true. But your body makes glucose out of fat and protein. It's called gluconeogenesis. And so if you eat a bunch of protein in one setting, especially if it's lean protein, you can only absorb so much in a setting. For me, I've tested it and I can absorb about 60 to 70 grams of protein in a single setting. And anything after that's going to be turned into glucose. That glucose is still going to spike my insulin. And when it spikes your insulin, you're still going to have insulin resistance. Your body's still going to shut down your ability to burn fat, stored fat as fuel, and it's going to set you back. So you want to add a 2-to-1 fat ratio, and it makes your body become really efficient at being a fat burner. And so it'll go into your stored fat cells, and it'll start burning that, and you'll see your energy go through the roof. you'll also see it's very satiating and it'll drop your appetite way down. So you'll naturally start eating a lot less calories every day.
Yeah. So carnivore, I know you said it saved your life. I'm curious about your guys' childhood and kind of how it was growing up, because you said you were what, 500 something at 14. Was it like rough? Were people nasty? Because I know kids can be brutal.
No, I was lucky enough. I didn't know that my dad knew this, but I didn't go to school. My dad kept me out of school. I think he knew that I was gonna fight stuff. So he homeschooled me until I was 14, and then he put me to work. And I worked ever since I was 14 as an electrician. My dad was an electrical contractor.
Okay.
And so he put me to work. And this is one thing people fight me on. And this is one thing I'm trying to tell people. They say, you can't work when you're 600 pounds. There's no way you could carry around that weight. And I'm like, dude, what you don't understand is, I was 200 pounds when I was like 5. I was probably 300 pounds when I was like 7, and so on and so forth. Like I grew, I was always huge, and I developed with this kind of weight. You know what I mean? So I was very, very heavy, but I was also very, very strong. I could, the joke around the house was that boy ain't too smart, but he sure can lift heavy things. I could just move mountains. I always could. So I built a frame for carrying that weight because I developed with all that weight on me, and I carried it pretty good. It's still hard on you, and it's still bad for your health, but I made do, and I kind of built a frame around it. So I didn't put up with that. I didn't have bullies or any of that stuff. I grew up with older people, and actually grew up people I think that's why I don't have a kind of a complex about that, and why I have a lot of confidence, even though I'm still a bigger dude, because I never just kind of got beaten down by that. But we were very broke. We were poor when I was a kid. And so we lived on sugar. I mean, we didn't hardly eat breakfast or lunch. We'd have one big dinner at night. And in the day, we would live off of breakfast might be a donut or, 3 donuts or something. But it was always soda. We lived off of soda. I drink 24 12-ounce cans of soda a day. That's what I lived on.
Yeah, soda was my main drink too.
Yeah.
That's all I drank for 10 years or something like that.
Right. And
it's crazy to think about now, because you're like, man, I'm so dehydrated all the time. I feel terrible. It's like, and now getting hydrated is the hardest thing after the sleep. That's what people struggle with, is the hydration for the main part, and probably acid reflux is the other thing that's super tough for them to get over. It doesn't happen to me anymore, but for the first year or so, it was pretty bad. So,
yeah. Sorry. For me, being a kid, we were overweight. The whole family was overweight. My grandparents were from Italy, so food was a very important part of our culture. We used to sit down with a spread of food all the time, so food was always in our face. And I was also had very low self-esteem, low confidence, very shy. I had issues with my father. He wasn't the best father, and I'd be crying a lot. And my great grandmother, who was living with us, because we're very family orientated, would sneak us into the bedroom and like, here's a chocolate, to make you feel better. So I think that's kind of where my comfort food eating came from, because it's like, when you're upset, here's a chocolate. And not that I blame them, it was all done out of love. They were raised in the war, and they were very very poor back in the day. So you moved to Australia, the lucky country, everything's here, and it's like in abundance. So it was just their way of giving love, and I guess that's kind of been ingrained in me. So but the whole family was large. Friends would come to the house, everyone was large, so that was just normal for us. And then you go to school and you see all the little skinny people, and I'd be out there in the back of the class and just hiding from everyone. I didn't want to raise my hand or draw attention to myself because I was one of the bigger kids. So
I was the total opposite. I was outspoken, loud. You could catch me in the back of the classroom, like balancing a desk on my head, like just doing stuff like that. They talked about expelling me just about every other month. I had what they called a crisis pass in case I lost my temper. I was allowed to just get up and walk out. I was like pretty bad as far as that goes. Like they they changed the Saturday school rule because of me, because I would just skip Saturday school all the time, and it used to be an automatic suspension on Mondays, but I was just having 3-day weekends left and right. So they changed that. And then I had the master key to my high school because I had stolen it. And then they threatened to sue me for $35,000. And then I stopped at a water fountain, put in fake tears, walked in there and act like I recovered it for them and didn't get in any trouble. Like, I had a pretty funny like high school experience. Like, I was just world class, trouble left and right. So
Right on. That's Steak and Butter Gal. That's Bella. We're admins at her site. Anybody that's ever curious about Carnivore, and we get paid nothing to say this, but we're both members there because it's a carnivore community that teaches you how to start carnivore if you're interested in what all the basics are. And it's just an awesome community we love to go to. So I was going to throw that out there too. And I want to make sure we get all your super chats here, Sean.
I said, are you capable of doing that left split in the air like Marla did today? I saw that, man. I was like, I laid in bed. I was trying to do it. I couldn't do it. I tried. I wanted to get a hold of my ankle so bad and see if I could touch the ceiling, but I couldn't do it. I'm kidding. Obviously, I didn't try that. But no, I'm telling you how bad I was in school. I was bad. And then there was like another side of me where I would go in and help them like unload the fundraiser stuff and like after school hours. But if there was other kids around, I was going to show off. That's pretty much what that was. I just figured out real quick, the louder and the more outspoken I was, the easier life was being overweight.
That's awesome.
So,
I totally can relate to that. It's and again, our labs didn't prove, and we will go ahead and show side by sides when we get back from KetoCon in June. And then I'm assuming all your labs got a lot better too, huh? Just Sean.
Yeah, I haven't seen mine in a while. I asked the surgeon. I wanted to know what my testosterone was because I noticed myself getting mad quicker, and I was like, man, my testosterone must have spiked. So I wanted to know, but I haven't seen it in a while. It was kind of funny because it was like old road rage. Sean came back from my early 20s, and some guy throws his hands at me in a parking lot, and I jump out and try to pick a fight with him. And I'm like, where'd that come from? I haven't been that guy in forever, man. So I was curious if my testosterone had gone crazy.
What was your testosterone at the lowest? The total testosterone?
I don't know. I've never had an issue with it. I never had it checked. So I have no clue. I know it's not low though, because I got too much guy in me for that. But
right.
Yeah, but yeah, they're saying fat produces estrogen. So yeah, I do know that. But yeah, I was curious about that. I was kind of curious what happens to that because I had read all these kinds of studies that saying it spikes when you lose a lot of weight. So
yeah, it definitely gets better because mine was abysmally low. My total testosterone is 237, which is way below even the low mark. And then and then kind of like you said there, they put me on TRT. I got off of promptly 6 weeks after I got on it because I realized that you can get stuck taking it, and I wanted to try to heal it naturally, and I didn't want to get dependent on it. But in that in that 6 weeks, I did have roid rage. It was pretty funny. I stuffed a dude in his car in the Arby's parking lot. I was in the Arby's drive-through, and this kid was trying to cut me off, and then he got out, puffed up his chest, and he was gonna fight me, and I. And he didn't realize he's biting off a little more than he could chew, and I ended up stuffing him in his passenger side window, putting him back in his car. It was pretty funny. I got back in my car and I was like, I think this was the aggression my doctor told me to watch out for after I started the testosterone.
It's crazy because it definitely spikes. You get a little bit of that rage back in you I call it when you're a kid, I call it getting possessed by a demon called testosterone. And that's just how I've always described it. And that's what all little boys go through whenever that happens. It just totally changes how you look at the world. You get all these, and I'm sure a lot of the women in the chat, like they've probably got teenage sons and they're noticing it. It's crazy the change that happens in young men when that happens.
For sure. Hurricane Heather and her cancer journey. Thank you so much. And we are praying for your cancer. For sure.
Yeah, fuck cancer.
Yep.
Mm.
You got a couple of new members. That's awesome.
Thanks for supporting the group. Yeah.
All right. We got through your super chats there. Thank you guys so much. Oh, did I get this one? I think we'll put this up there just to make sure.
Love from Scotland. Love from Maryland. Thank you, Mary.
Appreciate it. All right. Well, did we get this one? I think we did.
Excellent. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
I'm late. Glad I caught it live. Thanks for doing this live. Thank you,
right.
Courtney.
Now we'll try to catch up on. Definitely put a Q in front of your comments if you have questions. Because Sean is bringing the audience with him today. So there's
How many people are in here?
There's like 100 or 720. So you peaked at like 804 a little bit ago. So yeah, these guys are incredible.
I told you, man. They pull for me. It's so funny because people will say something mean about me in the comments, and just women jump on them, and then like the replies are just savage. But sometimes these ladies are brutal themselves. Because I made a joke about like chubby chasers on TikTok, and then I saw this comment from this lady. She was like, "This fat guy pursued me once, and then I kind of gave in, and he was small and couldn't perform." And I was like, Jesus, just murder the guy now. Why don't you? That's the most savage comment ever, I think.
Do you always feel hungry like 24/7? I did. I don't anymore at all. That's the beauty of it. In fact, right now I eat 84 hours out of the week. So I eat Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And then I fast Thursday night, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I'm never hungry. I'm never hungry. That's what's so beautiful about getting your hormones right and becoming fat adapted, is that your body easily switches over to your stored body fat, and then you can lean out. It's just like a bodybuilder doing a bulk and a cut, it's just like that. I do it bi-weekly. And then that autophagy, when you go into a fast, anything after 13 hours, starting after 13 hours from last time you ate, you start getting into autophagy and mitophagy. And that's when your body starts healing all the dead and dormant protein cells, and it takes it absorbs the cell, and it builds a new protein cell out of it. And so you heal. It heals, it heals blue skin, it heals damaged organ tissue, it heals congestive heart failure, it heals the lymphatic system. It just is super healing for your body. So I do a lot of fasting in the summer. How about you, Sean?
Yeah, sorry, I was totally reading the chat because they were going crazy about some other stuff.
No worries.
They're talking about how protective they were, and
no worries.
I was reading them. I was trying to see what they said, but
they're just asking if do you ever feel hungry 24/7?
Oh, okay, yeah, that happens at first with the sleeve. Like every 2 hours, I would say you start to feel hungry because you can only eat so little, right? But I have found that the more you push through that, the longer you can go. I'd say you probably like get to the like I need to eat, I'm getting dizzy stage at like 4 or 6 hours. So you do have to eat more often, but as long as you're counting calories and all that, you should be able to do pretty good. Honestly, I never researched the science behind it. None of that. I'm kind of just a go with the flow guy. It's like, oh, I don't know, like just kind of deal with the weight loss. This works for me. This doesn't work for me. And that's kind of how I just roll with it. I didn't research the surgery before I had it. I was just like, yeah, sure. Cut out my stomach. Do it with a spork if you have to. I just want to lose weight.
What would you say like your top pros and cons are? Like your top 3 pros and your top 3 cons of the gastric sleeve is?
Pros. Okay. So it changed my total mindset behind weight loss because I realized it was possible and that I could do it. The low amount you could eat is pretty amazing at first. It kind of stretches a little out over time, but it's still pretty low. Cost of your grocery bill goes to the floor. It's crazy how little, and you have to think about everything you buy, like how good is it going to taste later, because you can't, it's not going to keep forever. But that, and then cons, the acid reflux at first was awful. I sometimes would wake up in the middle of the night choking on my own vomit. So, and that's it if you ate too close to bed. So that was like the big deal. So you don't want to do that, because I think it's called GERD when that happens or something like that. Hydration's hard, man. You got to sip on water 24/7, like, because you will get dehydrated so quick it's not even funny. And then what's another con? I probably would say like loose skin, if you want to look at it that way. But the loose skin's kind of just proof that you've been working hard, is how I choose to look at it. But pros, cons, that's probably where I land with it.
Yeah. And do you think you're going to get that? Because Sandra actually just asked that if you had any loose skin, do you plan on getting that cut off, you think, or what do you think?
Yeah, I'll have to. He told me actually to get 10 pounds heavier than I am now to talk about getting it cut off. So I probably, the second I see my surgeon again, they'll probably start talking about that. But I definitely have it. You don't get to walk away without it. But like, I mean, you can look at that right there. That's loose skin, like right there.
So, yeah, I
but I'm working on the muscle. Damn it, I'm working on it.
I know, but it does come back. Like it. I mean, like that's one thing that I love about Carnivore is that there's a part called priming, which is counterintuitive to all of us that have been on calorie restrictive diets to lose weight. Priming's the exact opposite, but as God is my witness, this is one of the craziest things that happened to me through Carnivore was, so I lost a bunch of weight, but I was way under eating for like the first 9 months of Carnivore. And then my metabolism stalled because I was eating so little. And I was like, man, I was feeling bad. I wasn't sleeping good. I didn't have energy. I was just starting to get depressed again and anxiety, and things were off. And then I got with the Steak and Butter Gang and I started doing their priming protocol. And dude, I went from doing that to eating like you eat like it's your job. You start eating meat like you're taking vitamins and it's on a schedule, and you start putting it down 3 times a day. And dude, it's so crazy because it ramps your metabolism up. What you're doing is you're showing your body that there's a bunch of protein and collagen and amino acid that is available to your body, and that your food environment is different, and your metabolism takes off. And so all of a sudden you get like ravenous. And I went from eating like a pound of meat a day, and that was all I was eating, and I was doing OMADs 1 meal a day, to I was eating like 7 pounds of meat a day and like 6,000 calories of beef a day. And I put on 20 pounds over about 5 months, but I lost 3 shirt sizes while I was doing that. So it was a composition change, and I started just getting a massive amount of muscle back. It was crazy. I was sedentary, stuck in a chair for 2.5 years, so I had a bunch of atrophy, and all that stuff healed while I was priming, and I just got crazy amounts of just muscle back, like all over my shoulders, my arms. It just grew back. It was crazy from priming. So that was really cool.
That's the funny thing I noticed after surgery was the amount of muscle that kind of went away. I was like, damn, my arms look like friggin' pencil right now. So then I had to start lifting. I lift like 5 days a week. I call it my prison gym, just lifting, some dumbbells at home and resistance bands, stuff like that. But yeah, you definitely have to work on that, because I will say you're not just going to lose weight. You're going to lose muscle too. What about you, Lindy? Because you lost the most weight here out of all of us.
Yeah, in regards to skin removal, I'm actually in the process of inquiring about that and just waiting on a yes or no. There's a lot of hoops that you need to jump through. I had to have heart cardio echograms and things like that, and I've passed everything with flying colours. So now just waiting for the anaesthetist to make a decision. So just obviously my stomach, I have a lot of loose skin there, 22 pounds, I think. It converts to just in loose skin. So that's got to go. And I've had a few comments about how expensive it is. We're looking probably around 20,000 Australian to have that removed. And so now I'm just trying to figure out whether I can do it under the public system. Because it's cosmetic, it's not classed as a public thing, but because it's so much, they're calling it an amputation, which is to get through cut through that red tape. So I'm hoping it can be done under that. Otherwise, yeah, I might sell my car or something just to get that done, because it does impact your life, doesn't it? Like when you've got this sort of mass in front of you, it affects your balance and it's in the way. Exercising is difficult, you know. It's uncomfortable, and I'd much rather have loose skin than be 800 pounds again, because I do have some life now. So, you know, but it would be really comfortable to get rid of that. I mean, I have the loose skin on my arms, my legs, and all that I can deal with. Yeah, long skirt, long sleeves, cover it, I'm fine. But the stomach does impact my life a lot. So I'm hoping to have that removed. I'll be ringing the surgeon next week to see if I've got some news, and hopefully by the end of the year or next year I can have that surgery. So that's my plan on that one.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's live. I don't know why somebody's asking, is it really live? Maybe we're not getting into the comments enough.
Oh, all right. We'll get back down to the bottom here. We're trying to catch up. We've been chatting, and you guys are doing so awesome. The comments are huge. Before starting carnivore, should have discussed with an MD. Ketosis is not for everyone. I think you're thinking of ketoacidosis. So the name sounds close, but they're two totally different things. Ketosis is completely safe for everybody, because ketosis is just burning fat as fuel. And the byproduct of burning fat is fuel is ketones, where the byproduct of burning like glucose is what is it, lactic acid and uric acid or whatever, lactic acid, I believe. So, but ketoacidosis is what is dangerous, and that has nothing to do. It's not at all the same thing. It's a medical condition. So, just want to throw that out there. We are gonna.
I need to grab a water real quick. Hold on, I'm getting thirsty here.
Absolutely. We'll start here. Let's start up here. We're gonna do a speed round and get through some of these carnivore ones. Is carnivore detox. It can be detoxing for sure. So basically, the general idea on carnivore detoxing is that plants have a bunch of oxalates in them. Your body stores these oxalates. There's things that turns out that our body does not. Plants want to live, and so especially things with seeds and skins. The plants they put oxalates in them that are kind of like they're poison, and they make you allergic, and your body stores it. So when you're doing carnivore, as your body heals and it starts working through the fat cells that have the stored oxalates in them, it'll start doing what's called oxalate dumping. And it's very real, and it's a little bit annoying. It's a little itchy sometimes. I just had an oxalate crystal come out of my forehead about 2 days ago. It actually crystallizes these oxalates, and it comes out of your skin. And so that happens for a little while, but that is the detox that happens on carnivore. Any side effects from carnivore? Well, you wake up to the fact that sugar is very addictive and poisonous. And I don't know, there's just funny things that happen on carnivore, but I have yet to have, the worst side effect that's temporary, that we call it disaster pants, because when your stomach is trying to figure itself out and your gut is recalcitrant for the fat and meat, you can get some diarrhea for a while. So
the dumping syndrome or whatever they call it.
Yeah, and it's really just your stomach getting used to emulsifying fat and breaking fat down. It's not used to it at that level, and so your body and your gallbladder has to get used to putting out bile again to breaking down the fat, and so you kind of got to ease into that. If you go straight carnivore and you go straight into a 2-to-1 fat to protein, especially if you're having rendered fat, you're going to be on the pot quite a bit.
Yeah, I think the worst thing about this weight loss is like my love handles. Man, I hate my love handles, but it's proof I've been working hard, but they're there for sure. Yeah. I always say, I always joke. No, I'm not going to say it. I say some crazy stuff about my love handles. I'm going to decline to say what I think I would say because I could cut it out if it was in a video and I said it because it's so crazy, but I'm not going to do it. Now they're all going to type in the comments, say it. No.
I actually had removed when I was 21. So I had fats as well. So carnivore for the first 6 months, I was on the the toilet a lot. They call it disaster pants. But yeah, so I had to stay close to the loo, which wasn't a problem for me because I had mobility issues anyway. So I didn't hover far from the toilet anyway. But now I'm fine. I can eat heaps and not have any issues. But the start of carnivore, it's like detoxing from alcohol, cigarettes. You're always going to have some kind of symptoms from detoxing, and cutting carbs and sugars from your diet, you are going to have issues. And so that's very minimal. And once you get past that hurdle, it's beautiful. So
I told you, they're all saying, say it, say it, say it.
Come on,
all right.
Say it.
I'll say it. Lots of hypotheticals here, okay? Nobody run with this. Lots of hypotheticals. I need to preface this with that, all right? With love handles, if I was playing for the other team, let's say, and I had that kind of grip and I was a bottom, I would get destroyed. That's all I'm saying. And that's what I think about them. But lots of hypotheticals, okay? Nobody start typing that in my comments.
Thank you.
Time.
Thank you for ruining my love handles, Sean.
Yeah, I'll say, next thing you know, tomorrow's video, Sean's a bottom. Sean's a bottom. I'm going to see that. Look.
On this note, we'll get off of that note, but on this note, on the I don't know who ALR is. Says I hate to bring
Amberlyn Reed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Possible to lose weight with lymphedema. For anybody that's curious about this, we have an expert coming on tomorrow on our show. I had to have her on because she pegged me to a T on kind of my body composition, and she linked my lung problems to lymphedema. And so, and she's a lymphedema specialist. And so we're going to be doing a 3-hour special with her. If anybody wants to watch has any questions for her, because she's the most, educated, smartest person I've heard. It has pinpointed exact problems that I was having, that I had specialists looking into my lungs for 15 years that couldn't figure out what's going on, and she pegged them. And so she's incredible. She'll be on tomorrow if you have any questions about that.
I can't believe you don't know who Amberlyn Reed is, though. They drag me in the girl world every chance they get. The Foodie Beauties, the Amberlyn Reed. And Amberlyn Reed's infuriating because she's like, oh, well, I'm doing this. Like, she gets so much support at first, and then people slowly start to turn on her because she just never made any of the effort to lose the weight. So part of me thinks it would be hilarious to like become the male Amberlyn Reed and start working back in the other direction and just gaining weight back and just kind of troll everybody, because I like messing with people. But I'm obviously not going to do that because I don't want to be 600 pounds again. But I think it would be so funny to do. Because sometimes I say things in my videos just to see the reaction I get, because I want to mess with people. Because I know my audience is 80% female, right? So I'll say some of the most red pill stuff in the video because I just want them to like kill me in the comments because I think it's hilarious. But I don't actually believe like red pill stuff. They know that. It's funny because I'm always worried with my jokes that like they'll think I'm this like crazy person, but they say it kind of translates a little bit when I actually act like human and like have empathy for people. And that's what I'm worried about with my videos, walking that thin line between like funny and empathy. So
I started comfort eating at 13. AP says after trauma and weight became an obsession, I began starved, gained, lost. What a roller coaster ride. Carnivore has given me a break from self-sabotage. Congratulations. So glad to hear that. We're gonna kind of, maybe we'll do man, we got so many questions. You're bringing it in. Yes, you absolutely.
That's why my channel actually blew up. I used to date Amberlyn Reed. That's what happened. Yeah.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, for sure.
Leg.
I was such a terrible boyfriend that she just decided she was off men forever.
I think he's being facetious, but Lindy doesn't do sarcasm very well at all.
I got her.
You got me, yeah. Well, we were featured on Joe Rogan, and Todd was like, "Oh, we've been featured," and I'm like, "Who's Joe Rogan?" And like,
I had no clue who Joe Rogan was.
Joe Rogan, and I had no idea who he was.
How do you not
So
know who
funny.
Joe Rogan is?
Right?
I thought everybody knew that.
I know.
No.
I was freaking out because Sean Baker put Lindy and my YouTube channel up on Joe Rogan. And I was like, holy crap, dude. We're like, people started texting me, like, dude, your face is on Joe Rogan right now. I'm like, oh, bullshit. I thought they were just trolling me. And then they started sending me screenshots. I'm like, oh my God. And then I told Lindy, and she's like, who's Joe Rogan? Is that a thing? And I'm like, what do you mean, who is Joe Rogan?
Yeah, right. Only the biggest podcast on earth. But
Exactly.
that's cool. It's kind of funny that you're in your own little lane and you didn't know who he was because he's huge.
Yeah. And Steak and Butter Girl, who was on earlier, Bella and myself, we were featured in the Rolling Stone magazine. Again, I had no idea what Rolling Stone magazine was. And everyone's like, that's huge. Whoa. And I'm like, yeah.
So crazy.
I live in my little bubble. That's where I've been for the last, 10, 15 years, is hiding in my little house, not able to do much. So I'm totally out of sync. So.
That's cool, though. That's kind of funny. But I was reading that comment you just put up. Can you reverse congestive heart failure? And I thought she said, like at first I read it reverse cowgirl. And I was like, what? What is this lady typing? So crazy, man. Cindy's like, what are you doing? Get this guy out of here. He's driving me nuts.
Let me get the hose out. No, not at all. Yes, you can. And that comes straight from doctors. Also, when we're talking, we're not just talking off the cuff here. This is, there's a big medical community behind Carnivore now. Dr. Ken Berry, Dr. Sean Baker, Dr. Anthony Chafee, Dr. Hampton, Dr. Kiltz. I mean, there are so many of these doctors. And I asked Dr. Ken Berry, one of the most, biggest names in Carnivore. And I asked point blank, I'm like, my congestive heart failure is healing, but my cardiologist said that it can't heal. And he said, that is the biggest load of crap. He said, we see it all the time. Congestive heart failure absolutely heals. So that's coming from a doctor that absolutely it can heal, and mine healed. So
I wouldn't know that. I didn't think it was reversible, but that's awesome, man. Cause, it's the thing that breaks my heart the most when I watch like those My 600 Pound Life videos is when somebody goes through all the effort, turns it all around, and then something happens and they lose their life. I'm like, oh my God. They just like fighting for their life. They made so much positive change and then they just kind of pass away.
Well, that's because I want to say this, like I'm a proponent for anything that you have to do to get healthy. Like if there's not a diet, a carnivore diet, a low carb diet or something out there that works for you, and you do gastric or any kind of bariatric surgery, we're still 110% behind you because we're rooting for, we know what it's like to be a prisoner to our bodies and to just be stuck, be so dark. I mean, it's such a dark place. And if you've never been there, there's nothing quite like it. And we know it very well. Everybody sitting here knows it very well.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're always rooting for you 110%. But I do want to give people an option, just because Lindy had gastric lap band.
And yeah,
my sister had lap band. My mom had gastric bypass, and it failed for all of them. And the truth is that bariatric surgery does have kind of a high fail rate, like 35% fail. Do you know what that is? The success rate on those bariatric surgeries, Sean?
If you watch the My 600 Pound Life, they'll tell you at the start that the chances of gaining it back is like 90 or 95%, I think. Okay. So I always tell people that like complacency is like the thing that's going to destroy you. The second you're happy, like people would think, I've lost 335 pounds, I'm content, right? No, the second you're content is the second you start gaining it back.
Yeah.
So that's the problem I think people have. Commitment, changing your whole lifestyle, like your mom, sister, would you say that they started kind of just eating the same junk again? Or
absolutely 110% for sure. And that's why I'm such a proponent for carnivore, is because carnivore gives you the tools. Like carnivore pays you back. So carnivore for me has stopped. And this is what I don't understand about bariatric surgery. Carnivore for me cured the underlying problem, so I don't have an eating disorder anymore. Like I do not ever worry about eating too much or going off the rail, drinking soda. I have zero temptation or willpower problems or whatever, or compulsive problems anymore. And Carnivore gave that to me. And I truly believe it's because we suffer from insulin resistance and a hormone imbalance that pushes most of that. And Carnivore heals it.
Mhm.
And that's why I'm such a huge proponent. What I would like to know, or what I feel like that people, the gastric, well, any of the bariatric surgeries it can be a tool to help you do that, but you still have to tackle the mental side of things, and you still have to tackle the underlying problem, or else it's going to be an issue, and you can kind of still eat past it, eat through it.
Right. They're all making fun of me in the friggin' chat because I was sitting here. Somebody said I had a long neck. So I was looking at my neck. Okay. I was not admiring my collarbones, as somebody else said. I was trying to figure out if I went from not having a neck to now having a long neck. So I don't know what do you want from me? I'll get rid of part of it. I'll get an amputated neck or something.
Someone just said we should have name tags. I don't know how to put them up. Todd, do you?
Well, hold on. We'll get them up here.
Thank you.
First, I have to hide that. There we go.
There you go.
I'm Todd. That's Lindy. That's Sean. Lindy's at Limitless Lindy. That's her tag for Instagram and YouTube. And I'm at the Carnivore Cure. And Sean is at Sean of Steel. Right, Sean?
The one and only. Yeah, no, that's me.
What do you think of this format, Sean? Do you like this format, going live on and kind of having a big group Q&A?
I like it. I think if I was going to go live, I would figure out a way to like watch something like and give them a reaction video so I could just sit there and crack jokes. But since we're just sitting here having a conversation, yeah,
and just so you know, in the future, you can definitely do that. We can later sometime if you want to get together, I can show you all the stuff that these programs can do, how you can present videos and do all that stuff through here, so you can do reactions and whatever. You know what else is really cool about this is that we can send out a link to your fans and they can come on and one at a time, and you can let them in and say hi, and they can be on with you. So that's pretty cool.
Oh, to jump on live?
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. Let's take a few more questions.
You have a delay on the video too, don't you? Is it a little delayed?
Yeah, so just in case something real crazy comes through.
You never know with me, right? I'm a loose cannon. Now, I just noticed somebody say something about the amputated neck, and I was like, man, I said that forever ago. That lady's living in the past.
Yeah, well, here's the other thing too, right? Some people back up the video, they pause it, go away for 5 minutes, then hit play, and then they're 5 minutes behind, because they're you have like people. We've been going for an hour and 32 minutes. People can rewind it and watch from the very first minute, and they'll start putting comments in here from stuff we said an hour and a half ago. That'll happen too.
Yeah,
I noticed that on my premiere the other day. It was funny because they're like, I'm at 5 minutes and he just said this. I was like, all right, we're at like an hour in, and then you're like replying to everybody. It's cool though. I like it. I like being able to talk to people and kind of have the live format, because I feel like that's one of the things that almost sucks about your channel getting bigger is you lose that talk to everyone thing that I used to do. And it got to the point where I was replying to comments like 8 hours a day. Yeah. And I just couldn't do that anymore. So now I have like an hour or two rule for replying to comments in a day. And I try, everyone that like comments on my video, like early on, I try to always say something back to them, like good morning. I'll try to say good morning back. I try to do that as much as I can, because that's the only part that's kind of rough that you wish you could change, just talk to everyone, because they're being supportive. They're watching your videos. So
yeah, lymphedema and lipedema. You can get those nodules or whatever that leak, and then lipedema, the skin can just leak, but both of them can actually leak fluid.
You'll likely lose 30. Yeah, I know. It's like 20 or 30 pounds from skin removal. So realistically, I'm probably like at my goal at this point once I get that done.
Tell me this, because I'm really curious. Well, yeah. Were you like, are you higher than your what the like TDDE calculators? What do you think you're going to be heavier than what the TDDE calculator says you're going to be for your ideal weight?
I don't even know what my ideal weight is, honestly.
Right.
I never looked at that. My ideal weight was just me getting to a point where I felt comfortable and I picked a weight. I was like, I think I'll look good at this weight. I'm a big guy, I've got square shoulders, all that. So I'm like 6'4", 260, and then it turned to 250 when I figured out I had to be under 260 to like skydive. So
Nice.
yeah,
That's
so I was
awesome.
like, all right, well, if I'm gonna do it, I might as well do that extra 10 to get get up
Well,
there.
I laugh about this. Before you get that skin cut off, you got to go to one of those air tunnels. I feel like we are flying squirrels. I feel like we already got the bodysuit, so I think
Mhm.
we can hit that roof of that thing, no problem.
Yeah, I joke about it. I say when you get in the water, like it wants to float, so you
Right?
kind of turn into like a stingray almost, like your love handles try to float up.
Yeah,
So it's funny how that works.
for sure. Your former self does float to the top of the water. At Shauna Steele, do you see yourself as super morbidly obese, or can you see yourself as everyone else sees you now?
It's hard to look in the mirror and not see the bigger version of yourself, or just get stuck in that mindset. So many people do. That's why I'm real big on preaching like love yourself and just be confident in who you are, because nobody can be you better than you. And I tell people that all the time. Like no one on earth is going to be a better you than you. So it's hard not to see yourself that way. But even at 600 pounds, like I was a little bit of a psycho. Like I would have days where I'm like taking pictures of myself and I'm like, oh, damn, I look good today. And like, so I definitely never had an issue with the confidence. You have up and down days just like anyone else. But yeah, it's hard to see a different person looking back in the mirror. But I just want people, I think people should love themselves for who they are. You got to enjoy the journey or else you're just going to be miserable all the time.
Exactly. Yeah, me and Lindy talk about that too. I turn like sideways still to get to doors. I don't have to turn sideways to go through anymore. And I wince whenever I sit down on a chair, like, oh my God, is this thing going to shrapnel on me?
Mhm.
So much stuff. This is a great question for Lindy. Hey, half of my weight is sweet tooth. How do you handle it? I was keto before Rona, but now can't afford it.
Yeah, no, well, as I said, we said earlier, the off switch, this is what Carnivore has given me. For 50 years, I struggled. I didn't even know what an off switch was. People say moderate your food and just eat a balanced diet. Well, I couldn't do it. It was difficult. And you'd go 2 or 3 days and then you just fall off. The cravings were too intense. So Carnivore has given me that off switch, turned off all the signals. I just eat my meat. And it took a good probably 4 to 6 weeks to sort of get past that. And now it's a breeze. So it is difficult to start. You just got to persist. And whether you do keto, carnivore, for me, I had to jump in 2 feet first, do carnivore strict, push through until I got to that point where all the cravings stopped. And I think cravings are just your body is wanting nourishment, and like the proper human diet, eating, what they call a balanced, I guess, fruit, veg, and all that kind of stuff is what people say is a balanced diet. But for me, carbs, vegetables, they still trigger cravings. So I didn't get that off switch until I actually removed those from my diet. If I do have a piece of pumpkin or whatever, those cravings come back. So I know for me, I've got to keep those things out of my diet. So
I could not get freedom from the sugar
mm,
addiction until I went BBB&E, which is beef, butter, bacon, eggs, and water and salt. And then it's that staying away from all the sweet taste and letting that addiction die while nourishing your body. You kind of got to eat through it. And then your body will uh, start running off of fat. It'll run off of fat as fuel, and that addiction will go away, and your body starts to crave the protein and the fat. And then once it has that, you're going to keep your insulin levels low. That anxiety and that cortisol response that happens with insulin resistance is going to start getting a lot better. And you're not going to have these huge attacks for sugar anymore, and it just dies. And pretty soon you'll wake up one day going, I did not know I could be this free from addiction. And this goes outside. This is proof positive to me. So I used to have a gambling addiction. I used to chew 2 cans of Copenhagen every day. Everything I did, I was compulsive, and I did in just huge quantities. There was no middle road with me. It was all or nothing. It was, 0 or 150%, like everything I ever did. And when my hormones healed and this anxiety and this depression went away, all these things went away. Like I was keeping my gambling stuff at bay, but it was always there as a monkey on my back. And then it completely went away. I could care less. That's not there anymore. The anxiety went away. And then I wasn't even planning on doing it, but I healed so much that my body didn't want Copenhagen anymore. So after 26 years, I completely quit a 26-year Copenhagen habit last October 26th overnight, and I haven't had a craving for it since. I do not have an addiction or a weakness or a craving or a vice at all for anything. Nothing dominates me anymore, and I'm just completely free from it all. And that's why I'm so much of an opponent for carnivore, because I just know that what it does is it really heals your hormones and your brain chemistry, and that is what that is out of balance because of insulin resistance. And that's what I believe that the obesity population problem really is it's insulin resistance that is completely destroying people's proper hormone balance that regulates our hunger, our stress, our anxiety, our depression, these things. And the food is all addiction and medication, a way of medicating this hormone imbalance,
And we're not saying carnivore is for everyone. For us, it's working. And this is not just a diet. We're not going to, when we get to our goal weights, we're not going to stop. This is our lifestyle now forever. But other people don't need to be strict. They could do like keto, or someone mentioned here, Mediterranean diet. If that's working for you and you're at your goal, you're feeling fantastic, congratulations. You found what works for you. But everyone is unique in their journey, and you just need to find what works for you. I failed so many diets. I failed lap band surgery. Carnivore is the only thing that I've been able to stick to, and I am reaching my goals. I'm going to get to my goal weight, and I'm going to feel fantastic. I'm feeling fantastic now. I actually weigh less and feel better now at 52 than I did in my 20s. Like, this is working for me. So, but for someone else, it may not work. So you need to find your why. Sean's had gastric sleeve, and he's doing amazing. Look at where he is. It's working. So congratulations, Sean, Todd, myself, and everyone here. Just find what works. We are showing you that carnivore is working for us. If you failed everything else, here's an option. Give it a try. What have you got to lose? People are thriving on carnivore. People thrive with gastric surgeries, but all these things don't work for everyone. So just find what works for you. And I just wanted to say, we're getting a lot of comments here about.
Perfect. And I just want to throw it in there too. Absolutely. Just try it for 6 months. Don't try it for 2 weeks, because this is not something you can try for 2 weeks. You got to try it for like 6 months, and you got to really give it your all. And that's why it's so important to be in a community when you do it, because there's a lot to learn in a short period of time, and it's imperative that you do it fairly strictly to get through it, and there's a lot of tricks to doing that because it's a big change. But it could be an option for you if just like Lindy said, if other things aren't working. And so that's what it's just, like Lindy said, I love that we have Sean here representing, the bariatric side of things. We would like to get somebody in here that does the Ozempic stuff, that's lost 2, 3, 4, 500 pounds on Ozempic. We want to see all the tools so that everybody sees all the options and weights and measures, and that they can make a judgment for themselves. Because honestly, the reason why I love talking to Sean here is because I only see like bariatric surgeries, really extreme low carb diets, and then some of the Ozempic stuff. That's the only 3 things that I actually see out there in this world getting massive amounts of weight off of people and being pretty sustainable. I don't see anything else doing it. Low calorie diets aren't doing it. Some of the low calorie, high volume eating people have made that work. I've seen that too. But so I'd like to, that's just kind of what we want to do is kind of reach out to people that have had success in all those areas, and just so that everybody can see a contrast and have all the tools that, to get free from being a prisoner, because the prison sucks, the being a prisoner of your body and not having a quality of life and is just terrible. We are here for you if you're in that spot and you need help, for sure.
Yeah. In
What's
regards
your
your doctors first, definitely everyone needs to go to their doctor, but you also need to do your own research. My doctor told me when I was 25, the lap band surgery is going to cure you. You were going to be fixed. It didn't fix the root cause of my issues, the comfort eating and changing all my old Breaking Bad habits. So I still got up to 800 pounds. So it wasn't a cure. You still need to do a lot of work, and they don't tell you that. It's just like, here you go, have surgery, it'll fix you. And when you're desperate and in that place, you just like, okay. And I think a lot of people on 600-pound life, they go into it thinking, I need this surgery, it's going to fix me. But they don't realize it's hard work, and you've got to do the hard work as well. And when it doesn't work for them, you do feel like a failure and you just give up on life. So definitely you've got to talk to your doctor, but you also need to do your own research. And there's plenty of resources out there. Do your research and then work out what's best for you when you have an informed decision based on that. So sorry, Sean, off you go.
No, you're fine. I was just going to say, they keep asking about like quitting smoking. I smoked right up to my surgery. I had my surgery canceled because I wouldn't stop smoking. I was a pack a day, Newport 100s. On my worst day, I'd smoke 3 packs of Newport 100s. Like, I smoked like a chimney. I would chain smoke 5-6 cigarettes back to back. And when I went to quit, it was switched to a vape initially and then cold turkey. That's just how I did it.
Nice.
But I was like, if I've been 600 pounds, obviously I can cold turkey some nicotine,
For sure. I think nicotine was 50 times easier to quit than sugar was. The soda was way harder to quit than nicotine was.
It's just the migraines. That's the problem. You get the migraines for like a few days. It's pretty bad. And then you kind of snap back. But what about on your guys' channel and all? Do you ever get what are the funniest comments you've got, or like the most random like messages you've got? Because I get a lot of funny random ones I think they would get a kick out of.
Yeah, well, I mean, our audience is kind of older because it's like older women are more diet conscious, it kind of turns out. But some of the funniest ones, I guess, were the funniest one I ever got was a troll. And I mean, I'll, if it's a funny joke, I don't care if he's trolling me or not, I'll give him kudos. But he was like thanks to you, you fat pig, for eating all the meat. Now they're going to outlaw it because you ate it all. So he was basically saying that because I'm carnivore and I was 700 pounds, I was eating so much meat that there wasn't meat for the rest of them, and they couldn't do carnivore because I ate it all. I was flat off. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, I get my audience is older too. I mean, it's primarily female, and I think the majority is 24 to 35 is the biggest like demographic, somewhere in there. I'm not sure. I could look at it, but it's mostly female and it's all adult. So the funnier things I get are usually the craziest ones, man. I don't know how many of them I should say, but the craziest one probably happened when I was like at 5K subscribers. One person messaged me every single day on like Instagram and like tried to chat me, and basically was like threatening me with like, I'm just gonna wake up and she's gonna be in my bedroom. And she kept making that threat like over and over. She's like, you're gonna wake up and I'm on top of you. And I was like, what is this lady on? Or they'll message me and say they saw the subliminal message that I put in my video for them. Or like some of them are just totally random and psychotic, or I'm married to them in their head, or stuff like that, man. They get a little wild.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
I do
or they're my stalker or something like that. So
want to bring this up because I think we might be able to help this gal. So, any ideas to somebody with hyperthyroid? It's actually autoimmune. I don't know what that word is. What is that?
hypothyroid, immune, Hashimoto's.
Oh, that's how you spell
Yeah,
Hashimoto's.
it's Hashimoto's.
Nothing works. I've done keto, vegan, low carb. So the SBG, the Steak and Butter Gang, has a few people they've worked on with Hashimoto's, right? Like Rebecca Heichman, right?
Yeah, Nisha Berry as well, Dr. Ken Berry's wife. She's a registered nurse.
Yeah, and they had. So I turned out I had hyperthyroidism. I was missing my eyebrows, the last third of my eyebrows, which I didn't even know was from hypothyroidism, but I healed that. And also, no joke, the latest thing that I'm doing that's been like a world of difference for my thyroid has been the Lugol's iodine. And but watch Dr. Ken Berry's latest video with Dr. Brownstein on iodine, and because it's very, very high doses, so you're gonna have to watch that to get the dosages. But I've been following that regimen, and it has just bumped my thyroid into high gear, and it's been a world of difference. So that has been really helping. I just wanted to point that out there, put you in the right direction. Lindy, have we put the SBG link in the chat so that people can find the Steak and Butter Gang if they need to go there?
No, I don't think I have. Let me have a look. Yep.
So sometimes sometimes your cholesterol does get elevated. I'm gonna put. Shoot, I should have sent this to myself. I'm gonna send myself some links that I'm gonna put in the chat for you guys that are all the cholesterol videos, because I suspected this was coming, because it usually does, because cholesterol is one of the first myths out there that get kind of thrown at carnivores. And they cholesterol is an absolute crock of crap. It is a complete myth. It's a gimmick that sells statins, and it's just for the drug companies to make money. There's no your body needs cholesterol. Cholesterol is a good thing, and it's not just coming from me. It's coming from a whole lot of doctors that have done a lot of research on it, and they are shining the light on it. It even in the American Heart Journal, they even posted that they're wrong about cholesterol. They just don't broadcast it because it's such an embarrassment, because it's kind of getting exposed that was a big money grab, and that the cholesterol conversation is nuts. So here we go. I have a bunch of video links I'm going to put in the chat. Copy right now. Right. Live chat right now so that you guys can see them, and save these to your playlist. Right there. Here they come. Save all those links to your playlist, and those will be everything you need to know about cholesterol from real doctors. This is not, hyperbole or anything. All right, let's get to some more questions. How you feeling? How you doing on time, Sean? Are you good for the rest of the show, or how? Yeah, I don't want to keep you if you're got things to do, but
I'll hang out here a little while longer. Eventually I'm gonna get so hungry I need to go eat. It's 8 o'clock over here.
No worries. We're 2 hours into it. We usually go 3 hours, but anytime we appreciate you being on.
Yeah, I'd say give me another half hour. So how many people are still in here? I feel like it's getting it gets longer. Is there still a lot in here?
Oh yeah, there's 650. Yeah, these guys love you, man.
Few people
have Saturday.
And here
I need to be out partying. I'm kidding.
Here's another really good conversation. I have MS and I have struggles with weight my whole life. My MS specialist told me Mediterranean diet is the best for someone like me. All right, I got to tell you, my brother's got MS, and he's had it for 19 years, and he is on carnivore now, and it's the best he's felt. And it's for people with MS, and I've talked to Emily Penton, who's a Carnivore, that she's cured her own MS, and Kevin with Dr. Baker's group. They all have MS, and they all swear by the 2 to 1 to even higher fat ratio. You have to really hit the fats hard with MS, and they are feeling incredible. And my brother's feeling so much better on the high fat carnivore. So I just want to put that out there. But yeah, check on, just look into MS and carnivore, but it's making great strides. And if nothing else, just for 6 months, just try a high fat diet, because that really helps the myelin repair on your nerves, the neuropathy. And also look up Dr. Anthony Chafee. He's a carnivore neurologist. Check out his videos and talk to him about that too.
No, we're not saying cured MS, but they're definitely symptoms
Remission.
Yeah, symptoms are much improved.
Yeah, I misspoke. And I like, that's not my wheelhouse, but look up Emily Penton. She has MS, and she put it in remission, or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, talk to her about that. Thank you, Sean, Lindy, Todd, and all testimonies. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. I'm kind of doing a quick round here. I'm trying to get through some of these, get down to the bottom. Here are the questions. Okay, here we go. Here's a question for you guys. How much does gastric or lap band cost?
I don't know. If you can jump through all the hoops and get it approved through insurance and go through like the 20 different checklists, it's a lot cheaper. But if you want to fly to Mexico, it's like $5K. If you probably paid out of pocket, I would imagine 20, 30K. Skin removal's 30K. So probably somewhere in that wheelhouse right there.
Gotcha. What if you don't eat red meat except for maybe bacon? What does the carnivore diet work? Well, it's going to be all ruminant animals and fish and lamb. You can put all those out there. I know many carnivores that don't eat red meat. They just do lamb and mutton and fish, salmon, those type of meats.
Dairy,
Yeah.
eggs.
Oh, tons of eggs. Yep. I eat a ton of eggs too.
I think they're asking me about my grandma videos. I would post videos with my grandmother at first. They were so funny. My grandma's like, if you think I'm wild, that woman's wild. If I went live with her, I'd probably end up banned in like 10 minutes. She's just so like ridiculously out of pocket with the stuff she says. But she got me banned on TikTok. That took like 10 minutes. So she's just a wild grandmother. And she got a kick because I mentioned her putting nicotine patches on her arms today in the video, and like having 2 on and smoking a cigarette. So she got a kick out of that because my mom showed her all the comments about her doing that. She thought it was super funny.
Wow. Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Question, Shauna Steele, have you ever thought of going carnivore to improve your long-term health?
I've thought about carnivore a little bit. Right now I'm keto. I like my keto yogurt a little bit too much. I like my turkey bacon. And what I understand of it is you have to eat more like just straight steak or straighter cuts of meat, I guess I would say.
Yeah.
So I do eat a lot of ground beef. I'm like close. There would be a few things I could switch up and I would be carnivore, honestly. Because I eat a lot of cod, a lot of salmon, stuff like that. And then steaks, that's a pretty big part of my diet anymore. But turkey bacon's a huge part. I have this keto yogurt called Ratio, which is kind of higher calories. So it's not the best, but it's only got 3 carbs. I try to stay under 10 carbs a day. That's my goal.
Yeah, so you're doing really well in that aspect. Yeah, so the only real difference would be getting away from sweet type of palates for a while, just to see how you do, and staying away from artificial sweeteners for a while, and then having more whole ingredients, like more things that are just straight cuts, like you said, straight cuts of steak and meat and eggs and fish, like I do pretty much. And you have to eat more because you have a smaller stomach to work with, but like I basically eat like eggs and bacon, and I eat like chuck roast, and I eat ribeyes and New Yorks, and I eat like salmon sometimes, lamb sometimes, or I make like pot roast, which is just like a chuck roast with brown gravy, and it's a keto gravy, so it doesn't have any carbs in it. But that's pretty much what I eat. But what's funny is it just all the cravings melt away, so everything tastes good every time I eat, and so I don't have any cravings. Like I'm not missing anything, and the sweet palate is completely gone, so I don't have to have any of those. But it's very interesting.
Cynthia, hold on, I gotta say this because I'm reading the chat. They always want to meet my girlfriend. The only reason I don't expose her to you guys is because, as I said before, I've gotten some crazy comments, and I feel like people would either be super mean to her, super nice to her, or like some of the dirty jokes I make would reflect poorly on her. It's not because I'm corny, Cynthia. I'm not corny in the slightest. I'm awesome. Okay, just had to put that out there.
I got to get you some super chats here. They sent you 2 super chats. I'm really enjoying the live stream chat. I'm learning a lot. Thanks, guys. I love you, Sean. You're amazing. I will always say pound down.
I told you, dirty jokes, man. That's yeah. Thank you, Justine. I appreciate that. Be careful in Pound Town. You don't want to get hurt.
Here's another one, Sean. I'm going to be on top when you wake
I told
up.
you it was farmies the whole time. I told you. You're pretty damn corny. Ouch, that hurts.
Right.
I think I'm PG. I am working with YouTube's guidelines with my jokes, guys.
Exactly.
It's like you're putting handcuffs on me, asking me to be funny, and I just got to roll with it.
How do you get through a plateau? Let's see.
I would say just stick with it, honestly, because it'll break eventually.
For sure. There's a lot of reasons why if you're and this is from my experience, if you're under eating, that can actually be a problem. I actually plateaued myself by way under eating and tanked my metabolism. I did that the first time, but also I plateaued for almost 6 months after I lost about 260 pounds. But it's just your body, that's a huge metabolic shakeup when you lose that much weight. And your body just wants to like stabilize for a little while and check the temperature of things and make sure that everything's okay, because that's like a huge change. And then it just had to stabilize and heal, and then it just takes back off. So exactly what Sean said. You know, as long as you're eating healthy, you're not having, as long as the plateau isn't because you went off plan, you're eating a bunch of junk or eating too much junk, and you're staying the line, then yeah, you just got to kind of ride it out,
Yeah, for sure.
Perseverance. There's power in perseverance.
Sure. What about vitamins in the carnivore diet? Do you take supplements? So supplements are a funny topic on carnivore. I think at first it can be very helpful, but once you get kind of the nutrient deficit that you're in filled, you don't have to anymore. The meat, especially if you have organ meat, and like I eat cod livers sometimes in the can, which give you a bunch of nutrients. If you have organ meats like liver or pancreas or heart or tongue, or you're not tongue, but any of those are all meats we've all eaten before. Those have a bunch of micronutrients in them, so you don't require really much. But at first, the common ones are like, and no, you don't need vitamin C. You're not going to get scurvy. There's a whole reason for that, but your body doesn't. When you're not eating sugar and junk, you don't actually hardly need any vitamin C. So, but yes, you need electrolytes are one of the most common ones. Also, me and Lindy found amino acids. What other supplements do you think are handy, Lindy?
Oh, well, I don't eat any organs. I hate them, so I stay away from them. It just freaks me out.
And this isn't some newfangled thing, too. By the way, Maggie in Canada, she's been carnivore for 60 years, and she doesn't have scurvy or any nutrient deficiencies. You got Kelly Hogan, who's been carnivore for like going on 20 years, 15, 20 years. There's a bunch of long-term carnivores that, absolutely are proof positive that this narrative that you're going to have some sort of, nutrient deficiency is is not true. So
I had somebody message me when I first started the channel and tell me I should have scurvy. I commented something back really mean, and then I deleted it because I felt bad. But I was like, looking back on it, he probably wasn't wrong. He probably was just trying to help me. And I went straight back with him, like going after him, and it was totally wrong of me. So I deleted it. I don't think he even read it. So thank God.
absolutely no, and that's cool, you know. But it's like I get a bunch of questions. People are always saying, you know, dude, how did you let yourself get 700 pounds? Or, you know, you didn't lose weight because of carnivore. You lost weight because you calorie restricted. And it's like, dude, it's not like I never tried anything. I got to 700 pounds at 40, and then I decided to try a diet, and I nailed it the first time. You know? Like
Right.
I was dieting this entire time, brother. Like my whole life from the time I was like 14 till now has been all a bunch of diets. You know, it was all dieting. You know.
Really? I only ever did it once in like 7th grade, and that's because girls came around, right? You hit middle
Right.
school, girl age. That's the only diet I ever had. After that, I figured out I could be fat and still get laid, so I just kind of rolled with it.
You've got to complain that you're not throwing enough jokes out there, Sean. So you need to pump it up a bit.
They expect me. It's just like dance, fat man, dance. You think jokes are that easy to come up with? No.
No, it's not.
It's funny. They're like the nicest people ever. Like honestly, the people in here, they're so supportive and just nice. It's just they expect some craziness out of me once in a while, so I got to deliver with the crazy jokes here and there.
Oh, that's awesome. Ketovore candy. That's awesome. I'll definitely check that out. That'll be interesting.
My personality, not my wallet. You think I'm buying it? Damn, you're brutal, Mo.
Does a carnivore diet help with hot flushes?
That sounds like a question for not me.
Yeah, I hear a lot of people going through their change of life. It does help with all the symptoms of that. So definitely a yes on that one.
There we go. Do you get constipated on carnivore? Sometimes you can, but that's so what usually happens is you usually get diarrhea at first, and then you overcorrect, you get constipated for a little while, and then your gut microbiome figures it out, and then you're fine. So I went through 2 weeks of diarrhea, 4 weeks of constipation, and now I've been fine ever since. So that's just one of the ups and downs that comes with it.
If you were a wrestler, who would you be? Which one's the little leprechaun guy?
No.
That's who I would want to be. Because I haven't watched wrestling since I was like 11, and I was dropping the people's elbow on things. So it's been quite a while.
Never got into wrestling, but
Yeah, I watched it for like a year when I was a kid. That's it. And they asked if I know who Cyrax is. Yes, I know who Cyrax is. He is a vile little goblin human being. That guy is the worst. I made a video on him a long time ago. He's so awful, that dude. And I thought it was super funny when they stood outside of his house and like with protest or whatever for him touching kids.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Lindy, do you weigh in stones or pounds?
Kilos, actually.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'm starting to speak Aussie. I knew that by now. Let's see here. Did you guys have to pay out of pocket for dietitian? Every part of my surgery is covered by insurance except my dietitian. It's only $350, but I understand why. I don't understand why it's out of pocket. I do not have insurance, so that is applicable to me. So
they keep asking what your current weight is because they want to know. I'm 270 right now.
Right now I'm 460. And Lindy's
268.
268. And Lindy, you've been doing this for 28 months. I've been doing carnivore for going on almost 17 months. And how long ago did you have your gastric sleeve?
About 2 years ago.
Sean.
That's about when I had it. Yeah.
Sean. Oh, about 2 years ago. I got you. So yeah, it kind of gives you a little spectrum. And obviously I got a bunch more weight to lose, but the reason why I started my channel was because we had a friend that had a guy on from Alaska that was reaching out for help that was 700 pounds. And I wanted to show him, as that's how me and Lindy actually met. I wanted to show him that it worked, that I had dropped 200 pounds in 6 months, and that carnivore was really working. So I want him to see it. Lindy did the same thing. And his name's Bill Knott. He's doing fantastic now. What's Bill? Probably 7-8 months in, and he's down like 200 pounds too.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, he's doing fantastic.
How do I find a carnivore physician? You want to answer that one?
Yeah. So Rivero, which is Sean Baker. Sean Baker is literally the guy that named the carnivore diet. He's starting up something called Rivero, that is basically going to be a group of carnivore physicians. And then doesn't Ken Berry also have a list of carnivore physicians, Lindy?
There might be a website that you can go to, but I know Low Carb Life Down Under does, but
yeah,
I think it's an equivalent in the US.
Yeah, and so I would check in with Sean Baker's site, Rivero, and that would be one of the better places to start. He's literally starting a network of carnivore physicians, and it's getting very, very common now, right?
Yeah.
How do you guys deal with binge eating? So honestly, it was the carnivore. I no longer have any issues of binge eating or any cravings. It sounds very restrictive, but when you get away from all the sweet palates and you eat your way through the problem, like you got to get through the addiction part first. So the answer is always eat the meat and don't take anything for granted. Don't use like taco seasoning or all these hyper palatable foods. You got to keep it real simple, like straight bacon, tallow, ribeye. Find like 5 things you like. For me, it was bacon, eggs, ribeye, and ground beef. And then I would use butter, tallow, and salt and water, and that's it. And the answer was eat. Like when you're freaking out and you want pizza, eat bacon and eggs until you're full. Like when you wake up and you're just having an attack, a craving, you're like an anxiety attack, just eat. Before you make any bad decisions, just eat the good food and it goes away. And pretty soon, in 5 or 6 weeks, you look back and you're like, dude, I'm not craving nothing anymore. I'm not having these spaz attacks,
Yeah. I was going to say, you hear that, ladies? Eat the meat. Don't be stingy. And no, they were saying, I thought you said carnivore style, man. In the chat, these ladies get out of hand on my channel, man. You got to reel them back in once in a while.
Get them in line, Sean. Get them in line.
Hey, I'm not controlling them. Don't put that on me, man. I just let them loose. I've only deleted like 2 comments in my life, and it was just because they were hateful towards certain groups. But if they want to talk bad about me or make crazy jokes, that's on them. I never touch them.
We better show your super chat that just came in, Sean.
Shaylee Lee, glad to have been part of this. I came here for Sean, but I'm very happy to have met you two as well. Happy 420, guys. Blaze, blaze. All right. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Much. Yeah,
I'm happy. I'm happy people came in here and just wanted to chat a little bit. So
yeah,
that's so cool, man. I love this, and I really appreciate you coming on. This is such a nice thing for you to do. I know we don't have a big group, but we definitely know where you're coming from. We're definitely definitely,
it wasn't about that. I wasn't coming in here to I wasn't worried about how big. You could have had 10 subs. I would have came on. So
I appreciate it.
Yeah, they want to know if I use a treadmill. Nope, I focus strictly on bedroom cardio. That's the only one I do.
Right on.
Tinder. And if I ever break up with my girlfriend, it's back to Tinder cardio. I'll be a Tinder demon for y'all. Fupa police. Fupa police. That's a good one, actually.
But that's funny. Proof of please. Yes. So I was very atrophied, to be honest, because I didn't hardly move for 2.5 years out of a recliner. I lost so much muscle, and specifically the priming protocol at Steak and Butter Gang for atrophy is what helped me. It put so much new muscle on me, and it healed neuropathy for me too. I had so much neuropathy in my lower limbs from just massive swelling and water retention from being sedentary for 2.5 years. But yeah, that is what carnivore does, is it heals. That carnivore is not like you will lose a bunch of weight on it, but it's not actually a weight loss diet. It's a healing diet. And then when your body, your metabolism, your hormones and your brain chemistry and your insulin resistance is healed, the weight takes care of itself. The weight's like a cherry on top, you know?
These comments are so funny, man. I'm just sitting here trying to reply to them little by little.
I recommend the carnivore diet to anybody that has any, the reality of it is if you eat a standard American diet, you're probably malnourished and you're probably nutrient, deficient in something. And the carnivore diet really does fix that. So I would recommend anybody that's got any kind of inflammation, any kind of arthritis, any kind of autoimmune disease, any kind of weight to lose, any kind of, muscular dystrophy problems or anything like that, or any kind of neuropathy that you need to heal. It's an incredibly healing diet. Just try it for 6 months. And if you don't like it, kick it to the curb and go on to something better if you know what it is, but just try it if you can.
There's nothing wrong with failing a diet either. Failure will lead to a success eventually. You can get knocked down as much as you want. You'll just have to keep fighting and find what works for you.
For sure. Where is Todd located? I'm in San Antonio, Texas. I am in Bozeman, Montana, but we are coming to Austin, Texas, May 29th through June 7th for the Hack Your Health Convention. And we got some pretty fun stuff coming up. We have meetups coming up. We got a massive live stream event coming up from Austin. It's going to be incredible. So appreciate you. Big T Bariatric.
Yeah. Big T. He's got a channel on here. He's almost 10,000 subscribers. He might be a good guest for you guys to have on too. But
love to have him on. Absolutely.
Yeah, he was like 671. I know he had the sleeve probably like a little over a year ago. He's been struggling a little bit with the plateau or whatever, but now they want him to get the bypass on top of it. I'd never heard of that before, doing both, but I guess it's an option.
Never heard of that either. Holy cow. Yeah, I'd love to see, man, it would be great if you wanted to before you did that, if you wanted to try carnivore for just like 6 months and see what it does for you, that would be like a great test, see what you think of it. I'd love to help you with that. Love to have you on as a guest too, for sure.
No, people.
I do not limit calories. I let my body do that. So I literally, I balance my fat and protein macros, but honestly, my body limits my calories. The more healthier the longer I do this and the healthier my body gets, the more it limits my own calories. So I might eat 3,500 calories a day, but you also have to remember that, and I might eat 4,500 calories in a day, but I fast half of the week. So if I eat 4,500 calories in a day, it's really 2,250 calories per day average. And I don't usually even get that in, but I don't care. That's one of the beauty of carnivore is at first there's been times for 6 months when I was priming, I ate about 6,000 to 7,000 calories a day. I gained 20 pounds in that 6 months, but it was muscle. I lost 3 shirt sizes and gained 20 pounds and got so much healing. My eyebrows grew back. My eyesight got way better and healed, which I even got that proof from the doctor. My lymphedema got so much better. Like so much healing went on during that time. So yeah, I let my body's cues now do all the work as far as appetite and what I need for calories and energy. I just listen to my body now and it does all the work.
How do you kick the carb cravings when you first start out? it's going to be mind over matter, as with most other things. I just would say if you push through it, your body adjusts remarkably quick to a new diet. And some people it takes a week, some people it takes 2 weeks, something like that. But your body will adjust eventually, and then you just stop thinking about it altogether. But once in a while, you'll get a craving for like a muffin, man. Muffins are friggin' good, but that's on my diet. They're on carnivore, so I don't know if you can make like a meat muffin or something, but
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I have muffins right here. These are the muffins that I make here.
you guys ever get into it with like the vegans and stuff? They ever come like,
we're not big enough, but yeah, bigger carnivore channels definitely take it. These are quiche muffins. So on the bottom you layer prosciutto, then it's filled with eggs and bacon and ham, and then I have a little bit of a thing for pickled jalapenos. So I put some pickled jalapenos in there. But those are carnivore muffins. So
actually looks pretty good.
They're tasty.
I get me some meat muffins, and nobody take that in a dirty way either. Some of these,
there's no way we're not going to take that.
Right, meat muffin. That's
But
what I call my ex-girlfriend.
You need to remember what your why is. Why are you doing what you're doing, whether it be carnivore or whatever diet? Your why has to be very strong to be able to push through those cravings as well. So my why is I wanted to live. I wanted to be here for my daughters. I had one foot in the grave, and I had to get past that and not leave my daughters without a mum. So just got to think about that why and push through that craving. Is it worth having a donut or that muffin? Or do I want to be here and playing with my grandchildren one day? So it's tough. Like with any sort of diet, it's tough.
And you have an offer on the table.
If you're ever single, I love you. Okay, bye. I love you too. No, the offers are respected. I'm not single though. I have a girlfriend. She's a sweetheart. They know that too. They just love messing with me, I feel like at this point. It's
right?
Like if you went through my Instagram DMs, they're like nutty. It's crazy. It'd be stuff from like tame to like when you gonna clap these cheeks to like some real raunchy stuff from like dominatrix asking to peg me. Like it's crazy.
Well, nothing like a fun pastime conversation in the Instagram DMs. Is
Right.
Atkins carnivore diet kind of, it's similar but not totally? No. This focuses more on higher fat, right? And also this focuses and treats insulin resistance the best, but it's close. They're very similar, but it's not totally. No. How do you navigate restaurant menus on the carnivore diet?
Well, if I go out to eat when socially, like I'm now at a stage where, like last night, we went out for my son-in-law's birthday, and I just ordered the closest I could get on the menu. Did have sauces and other things on it, and that's fine. I'm there to celebrate and enjoy my family. So I do, and I even had a dessert last night. But now I'm straight back on the wagon. Like I can moderate now. I can do that. So I will go to a restaurant, I will enjoy myself, and then the next day back on my carnivore train. So I wouldn't have been able to do that a lot earlier, but I'd have the strength to do that now, and I know how my body reacts when I have carbs. And someone mentioned, why don't I eat fruit and vegetables? Because that causes the cravings to come back, and then that's where I struggle, and I'm scared I'm going to spiral back into my old ways. So that's why I need to be strict carnivore most of the time. And when I do have a treat, I know how to fix that. So
I go in, I ask them, what they cook in. If they cook in seed oils, I don't touch it. If they don't and they cook clean, then I just eat. But the beauty about when you become fat adapted on carnivore is I can fast anytime I feel like it. There's never ravenous hunger or dips in energy like there used to be. So if I'm going out, and I know that the place doesn't have food, I'll just eat before I go, and then I'll get, something kind of cheap and innocent, like a little meat appetizer or something, and you kind of pick on it, but not really, just so that people, think that you're kind of engaged. But for the most part, I just will, opt out to eat, and unless it's a steak place or something. And then anymore, I'm just going to get the burgers. I'm going to get a bunless burger because honestly, I don't like steak out anymore. I cook a way better steak at home and it's way cheaper. And so I get mad when I get bad steak out that costs $60 a plate when I can cook a way better steak for $25 at home or something. I'm like, I'm not doing that. You know what I mean?
What about your grocery bill? Has that gone up like crazy? And no, my family really hasn't changed their eating habits at all. I've got an older brother that's pushing 600. I wish I could get him to do that, and then I could possibly get him to start a YouTube channel. You guys could follow him, but awesome, he says ignorance is bliss. So I don't know what to say about that one.
Well, man, you're going to be such a good example for him. He's got to see it. And when there's going to be a day that he's going to come to that spot you're talking about where we all have to make a decision, and he's going to be looking for an example for sure. So it's awesome that you're doing this ahead of him. Let's see here.
So my husband is carnivore, and my daughter, she has type 1 diabetes. She's had that for 30 years. And she's low carb, so more keto. She loves her fruit and veg. So, yeah, she just stays low carb. My other daughter, not so much. She still likes her.
My sister and brother are carnivore now, for sure. My sister, man, it's been a huge difference. She's, she's only like 5'4" or something, but she's already lost 70 pounds. And she's like, she had such bad arthritis. She was like crippled. And she's just, she's 500% more mobile. She's moving and she's losing so much weight, just way more life in her. It's incredible.
Explain the scurvy thing. You explain it if you want. I know that sailors used to drink rum so they didn't get scurvy.
Well, they used to try, but they ended up having to start having the cure for scurvy back in the day was oranges, right? For the pirates, but vitamin they would get vitamin C. But there's a thing. So I forget what it is. What is the competing when you have glucose, the cell that transfers vitamin C, the glucose competes for that cell. So you need a bunch more vitamin C when you're eating a bunch of glucose. When you're eating a carnivore diet and you're not eating the carbs, you don't need any vitamin C. You literally don't need it. It's because the glucose depletes you of vitamin C is why you don't get scurvy on carnivore. It's a big joke in the carnivore community. When we get together, we do a scurvy check. See if anybody's gotten scurvy. Nobody gets scurvy because the meat has just enough. I don't know. There's some vitamin C in some organ meats or something, but you just don't need it. It's a well-known fact. People get that because they're eating crappy food and glucose, and it depletes them of vitamin C is the deal. So right now I've lost 278 pounds in 17 months, but that's cool. But what it is the food freedom, that off switch that Lindy tells you about. Like, keep me honest, follow me. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to be right here in front of you. But I guarantee I've never been more certain in my life. And I would tell you, because I've been on white knuckle calorie restrictive diets that I knew wasn't going to work, that wasn't going to last. It was only going to be a matter of time before the wheels came off and I was just not going to make it. I was on at least 4 of those in my life. And this is nothing like that. For the first time in my life, I don't wake up and think, God, I hope I don't fall off my diet today. God, I hope this isn't the day the wheels come off and I gain it all, start the downhill descent and I gain it all back. I could care less. I have no fears about how I eat anymore. I'm so free from any kind of food, addiction, sugar addiction, eating disorders. Like, this is the easiest and freest I've ever been in my life. And that's why I want people to see this and try it, because like when you get this freedom, the off switch Lindy's talking about, this diet is called the diet of food freedom. You can finally heal through all that stuff and you're just a new person. You don't eat like the same person. You don't have those problems anymore. And that's finally, I'm very happy to say where I've gotten. So stay tuned and you'll see me lose the last 200 pounds.
Yeah, it's definitely a marathon, not a sprint, right?
For sure. For sure. Why can't you do that and still eat veggies? Because veggies cause a lot of problems for some people. I've tried it. I tried it on keto. But what I can say is watch Dr. Anthony Chafee. He's like the biggest proponent against vegetables. He flat say vegetables are trying to kill us. And it
I've
comes
seen
with,
that.
the oxalates, right? So plants have a bunch of oxalates for me, and plants have carbohydrates in them. And for me, any spiking of my insulin through carbohydrates through the plants, that spike of the insulin was putting me back on that same roller coaster, that addictive cycle that I've been on my whole life to treat the insulin spike with sugar. And it puts me back into that psych and I don't have that anymore. And I tried. I was right there with you. I thought surely I can do this on strict ketovore and do this with vegetables. I could not. And I mean, I was down to where I was eating carnivore and kale, and I had to get rid of the kale, or the carb cravings went away.
But like I said earlier, you need to find your own way. Fruit and veg for me is just causes the cravings, and it doesn't keep me, it's going to cause me to spiral. So I need to remove them from my diet. If you can eat fruit and veg and moderate and do all that stuff and you're feeling fantastic, go for it. No one's saying not to do it. We are not doctors. We're just talking from our experience, all three of us. This is what we've done to lose our weight, and we're all on our way to get to our goal. And that's what we're just trying to show. There are options for other people to consider. If you not, doing the SAD diet or keto and it's not working for you, then you've got gastric sleeve and you've got carnivore. 2 options. Try them. See how they go for you. But yeah.
Everyone's going to be a little different. Certain things will work for some people that just won't for others. So I always say, whatever works for you works for you. But as far as your goal weight or whatever weight, I always say it's whatever weight you feel confident and comfortable in your own skin at. So some people will say, "Oh, I'm overweight," but if they feel good if they feel good about themselves at that weight, I would say just don't focus so much on a number as more a feeling. That's what I always tell people. Because people get caught up on the numbers. They'll stare at the scale every day. I don't weigh myself, but every other week at this point. Because I just don't want to fixate on numbers. And I know at this point it comes slower because I'm getting closer to my goal. And it just comes off a little slower, like a pound a week, maybe 2 if I'm lucky and I really killed it. But it's a lot slower. So weighing yourself less often will make you see those bigger drops and keep you more motivated. But I wouldn't fixate on the numbers too much. If I'm you guys, I would just fixate on how good I feel. I woke up that morning. I felt great. I walked out the door. I looked at myself in the reflection, blew myself a kiss. Like I had a good day, So just, it's a feeling. I always say that to people.
Yeah. And focus on the non-scale victories. They're the best. Getting out there, driving again, being able to walk up and down the hallway without being out of breath and toppling over,
Yeah, life's all about, the little things that make you feel better. And people kind of forget that and they don't look at those things. They almost let them pass them by and they don't realize that there's a silver lining in everything if you just focus, and look for it. If you don't look for it, you'll never see it. So,
right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Being grateful to that, you can get stuck being a victim sometimes, or you think you are, but yeah, it's about getting out of it. It's about working your way out of it and being thankful for these tools that really have turned it around for us, for sure. Weakness on fast consecutive days. So I used to, but then I learned how to do nourished fasting with the SBG gang. And that has made all the difference. I get no weakness anymore. In fact, you shouldn't be fasting if you're getting weak or having brain fog or having any negative reactions. The fast is not doing a whole bunch of good for you if you're doing that. But the nourish fasting, it specifically helped when I started eating my macros at 2 grams of fat to 1 gram of protein. when I had that balance, which I'm on now it's, now it's fantastic. I've done up to a 6-day fast now, nourished, and I don't have any weakness or brain fog. It's super easy, goes super fast. So, oh, the grocery bill thing. So that was the one I was trying to remember. So the grocery bill thing, my grocery bill is so much lower than it ever was. And it's because what you don't understand, yeah, the meat is more expensive, but I don't snack. I don't drink soda. I don't drink coffee. I don't get Red Bulls. I don't do any of the snacking. It used to be that you'd make, a dinner and you'd have all these sides with it and you'd eat 3 or 4, 3 meals a day, 2 meals a day, plus snacks in between, plus dessert. I don't have dessert. I don't have any of the snacks. My appetite's under control. And now I fast half the week too. So I'm only eating half the week, and I'm not doing any snacking or whatever. This is my biggest frill, which is Topo Chico sparkling water, and that's just that's my biggest snack of cost. So I save a ton of money, and Lindy's got a really cool story about that too, don't you, Lindy?
Oh, I bought myself a brand new car with all the money I saved not buying junk. Yeah, definitely. So it's not expensive. It is at the start, you think you look at a piece of steak, it does look expensive, but then you're not eating as much as well because you're feeling satiated. So I don't eat 3 meals a day. I might eat 2 or sometimes 1 meal a day, and that keeps me going. And then the off switch clicks on and I don't think about food. I go off and I live my life, and that food freedom is just amazing. So I've never experienced that before. But yeah.
82-year-old Maggie has been carnivore for 65 years and does not have scurvy. Exactly. Let's see.
Yeah. Yeah, and she looks amazing. She looks better than me. And 82 years old, and she's out there rounding up cattle, and she lives on a farm. So the ranch, she's unreal.
Sure.
I want to be 82 and like her. That's my goal.
I'm definitely 35 for those of you who think I'm in my 20s still. It's just rosy cheeks, man. I can't get rid of them. I've been using rosacea cream for the last 2 months, and you guys keep telling me I have rosy cheeks. So I just really can't beat it. But I think
Good to go?
I'm starving. Yeah, I got to
Right
get
on.
off here and eat some dinner. It's already 8:40, and normally I do an intermittent fast where I don't eat after 6 and I don't eat anything before 8.
Oh,
so
wow.
it's like a little intermittent fast, 14 hours. So I'm kind of breaking it tonight. But
oh man, I sure appreciate you coming on. And where can people find you for all the new views that are coming in? Where can they find you?
Find me at Shauna Steele, Sean_of_Steele for Instagram, Twitter. You can find me on the Chub Hub if you type in Ding Dong Daddy. I'm usually on there. And that's about it. That's just a little joke I've always had with them. But you can find me over there. And I thank you guys for having me on. It's been a lot of fun.
Great. Thank you. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, and we appreciate
Bye, everybody.
Appreciate it.
You guys take care.
Bye.
See ya.
See ya.